we've got the bowl bonanza to get to as well. So if volleyball is not your flavor, you can, of course, catch a little bit the season with the bowl season. New Orleans Bowls tonight. Sam Houston, and who's playing?
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern. There you go.
Last night we had a couple of games. James Madison, they beat Western Kentucky 27-17. That was in the Boca Raton Bowl in Florida. Mm-hmm. And Nevada's Las Vegas defeated California 24-13 in the LA Bowl. How does that affect us? Our bowl bonanza between you and me and Timmy Boy. We were all 2-1 again last night. Everybody had James Madison. That was a winner. Everybody had California. That was a loser. As a UNLV won. So I'm sitting at 3-2 now on my bowl games for the year with 78 confidence points. You are sitting at 4-1 in your bowl selections. You've got 69 confidence points, and nice. Timmy Boy, he is sitting at 4-1. So you are inching closer. You had a good game tonight with 37 last night. 37 on James Madison.
Picked up
nobody cashes in though on California as they're running Rebels. They won over UNLV. Should we just get to our bowl picks for today?
Bowl bonanza? Might as well
while we're talking about it.
Yep.
Again, tonight is the New Orleans Bowl, Georgia Southern, and Sam Houston.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'll take Georgia Southern. I know absolutely nothing about either one of these teams, and I don't know why I'm taking Georgia Southern. I have no knowledge. I'm not an expert on either one of these two teams.
Sure.
Hell, I don't even know their mascot.
Sam Houston is the Bearcats, and Georgia Southern would be the Eagles, I think.
Really?
Some sort of bird.
You're hot on these mascots. Do you study those in your class at school or what?
I retain the knowledge comes and goes in this brain, and there's things that stick and there's things that really shouldn't stick for whatever reason. Like mascots have always been something that's stuck.
Yeah, you're always hot on those.
I retain really useless information, but Sam Houston Bearcats and I think the Georgia Southern Eagles.
All right, so I'll hop on Georgia Southern and give me 21.
It's pretty high for a team you know nothing
Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about Georgia Southern, but that's the way it is. Give me 21 points on Georgia Southern for my confidence rating.
You were peeking over my shoulder, man, when I was doing this. You must have, because I'm also on Georgia Southern, and I'm going to try to continue to gain a little bit of ground on the confidence point side of things. I'm throwing 35 on this.
Wow.
But I'm just like you. I know nothing about Georgia Southern. I have no idea. But we're throwing 35.
35 points on them?
I think the spread was a big indicator for me. When I was doing this bowl pool, I was kind of taking a look at the spread, and I said, well, gosh, they're over a 10-point favorite, so obviously
Georgia Southern
Davis likes it, so I'm going to throw 35 confidence points. Let's see what the spread is. Tim, by the way, is going the opposite direction.
Really?
He's taking Sam Houston, so we've got a little bit of a discombobulation there. It wasn't like 10. Now it's 4.5.
That's it?
There must have been some players say no thank you, or maybe hit the transfer portal. Something, but Georgia Southern went from a 10-point favorite. They're down to 4.5. People are riding the Sam Houston train. So,
all right,
that could spell disaster.
Yeah, you and me are on Georgia Southern. Timmy Boy's on Sam Houston for our bowl bonanza. Again, there's only one game tonight. New Orleans Bowl, Georgia Southern, Sam Houston. Tomorrow there's 3 games. So then we'll get to the first round of the playoffs coming up this weekend. So our Blazing Five, we'll have that as usual tomorrow at 7:30. Plus, we'll have our bowl selections sometime during the hour tomorrow. So, a big show for predictions tomorrow.
They're the Georgia Southern Eagles. I was right.
Are they any good?
I don't know. They're 8-4.
They're 8-4.
Don't ask Sam Houston's 9-3.
Wow, and we're
on Georgia Southern. But it was Georgia Southern that I still think it lingers back to the whole Oh, I remember them because they kicked the holy crap out of Nebraska that one year and sent Scott Frost packing. So
Oh, that was the last.
Georgia Southern
That was the team that we brought in and paid them like $2 million to kick their butt.
to fire our coach.
And then Georgia Southern beat Nebraska, and that was the last game that Scott Frost coached. He was fired on Sunday following that Saturday defeat.
Didn't just beat Nebraska. I mean, beat the brakes off Nebraska, like 700 some odd plus yards. So
Maybe that's why I took him.
yeah, good football team, good coach.
Yeah, I don't remember why I took them when I filled that out last week, but maybe that's why I took them and gave them 21 confidence points.
Can't tell you where they are 2 years removed from that, but yeah,
Did you see?
I'm on the Southern.
Yeah, we've been talking about the transfer portal.
Yep.
Did you see even the teams that are in the 12-team playoff? No team has been hurt worse in the transfer portal than Arizona State. They've got like 12 guys, despite playing in the football championship series, a 12-team playoff. They've got like 12 guys, 12 players that have defunct to the transfer portal. And they're getting ready to play a football game this weekend.
Getting ready to go a playoff.
Who do they play? Arizona State.
They're on the bye, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Didn't they get the stupid bye?
Yeah, hold on.
because
I got the.
You got the official bracket.
Yeah, they're the number 4 seed. So they have this weekend off. They'll play the winner of Clemson and Texas next week. But Arizona State has 12 players that have entered the transfer portal.
And
Just not right.
And you're going to be a quarterfinalist.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid to enter the. To have the transfer portal window open when the season's still going on here.
I mean, are they part of like the starting makeup
4
and
of them.
shakeup of the lot? Really?
Yeah, 4 of them are starters that are like 5-star recruits. So that's Arizona State. So that might have a bearing on my picks next week.
Arizona State.
Arizona State, just put a little asterisk by their name so you can
Technically,
remember that
yeah.
next week.
They weren't on the Bull Bonanza sheet for confidence points because they're a quarterfinalist team.
Oh,
So they're
that's
not
right.
part of the 40.
Yeah, but
But we can still pick them.
we can pick them next week.
Well, I ain't picking Arizona State if they transferred 9 million players.
NFL football tonight. You got Denver playing in Los Angeles against the Chargers. So if you got fantasy football, a lot of leagues are going into their playoffs this week. Make sure you get your lineup set. Denver playing at the Chargers, 7:15 tonight on the Prime Video. That's what's going on with the NFL. So, boy, you got a full plate of TV viewing tonight. And my wife, and she'll try to steal the remote tonight.
Well, what's on?
Well, she watches some stupid shows on Thursday. Yeah, she grabs the remote away from me on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and then usually I'm gone on Fridays,
Right.
and then I get the remote on Saturdays and Sundays. But she thinks it's her remote on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. All we do is watch cop shows and lawyer shows
That sounds awful.
and like Chicago Fire. That's what we watch all week.
There's sports on.
I know, but that's the difference between being married and not. You
So-
own your TV remote and you get to use it every night. I have to share mine.
So does, like, on your Christmas wish list to Santa, a second TV to mitigate the remote issues? A second TV in the Will household? Is that what I'm hearing?
I know, but then I'd have to hook it up to everything that we've got. That'd be a disaster. I'd have to have the IT guy come over. And
I can hear him screaming in the background, no!
No, don't do it. We're not buying a second TV for you. Anyway, I'll have to rip it away.
Yep.
I'll just steal it now.
There's
I'll put it
volleyball.
I'll steal it now and put it in my back pocket. She'll never find it.
I was going to say, put it on the desk that it was an unorganized, chaotic mess.
Oh, I cleaned it up a little bit.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Cleaned it
Nice.
up. I had a little time yesterday. Cleaned it up. Anyway, you're waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. This is a Huddle Up on Extreme Sports for a Thursday. A lot to get to here today. So thanks for joining us wherever you're listening to us. And remember, you can leave us a little message if you'd like. If you'd like to comment on something that we're talking about or something you'd like us to discuss, leave us a comment on Facebook Live or on Twitch this morning, wherever you're listening to us. Or if you'd like to give us a call, that'd be great too. Love to chat with you. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get tired of talking to you. And I'd like to talk to somebody else. 402-834-1330 is our telephone number if you'd like to join us here today. 7:17 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
Local news this hour brought to you in part by the Hastings Federal Credit Union, where since 1946, Hastings Federal Credit Union has been a part of the Hastings community, and it's community that is at the heart of everything they do. As a nonprofit financial cooperative, the credit union is owned by the members who join, and joining the credit union is as simple as opening a primary savings account. You can get from point A to point B and everywhere in between with a low-rate vehicle loan. Whether you're committed to camping or love living the lake life, you can also count on Hastings Federal Credit Union to finance your next big toy. They even do personal loans for life's little curveballs. So with affordable loan rates, convenient repayment options, and a friendly staff that knows you by name, you can see for yourself what the credit union difference is all about. That's Hastings Federal Credit Union, 707 North Marion Road, or online at hastingsfcu.org. Hastings Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender. Well, power was out for a good portion of the Hastings community last night as electric distribution crews responded at 6 p.m. to an outage affecting a large area in northwest Hastings, including more than 500 customers. The outage was caused by a vehicle accident at U.S. Highway 281 and 42nd, which left wires down and an open breaker. Power was rerouted by 9 p.m. and further repairs will be made this morning to the damaged system. A Grand Island police officer was arrested for suspicion of DUI over the weekend, and the investigation into the incident is underway. Grand Island Police Chief Kevin Denny posted in a statement saying, over the weekend, we have one of our GIPD officers arrested for suspicion of DUI. The DUI investigation is being performed by the Nebraska State Patrol. The officer in question is currently on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. The police department takes these allegations seriously, and it is an unfortunate situation. He goes on to say, I remind you, the officer, like everyone else, is entitled to their rights under the law. We head over to Kearney, where Roger Jasnuk, the director of the Kearney Visitors Bureau, has announced his retirement after 40 years of service. His last day will be on June 27th. Throughout his tenure, Roger has made a profound impact on the tourism industry, not only in Kearney, but across the state of Nebraska, in his service on the Nebraska Tourism Commission. Roger's legacy includes the inception of community projects such as the Kearney Area Community Foundation, the Archway, Viero Center, and the American Automobile Experience. And pipelines are back in the news again, as Nebraska Attorney General Mike Hilgers has joined a 13-state coalition to defend the Dakota Access Pipeline, which has transported oil and gas from North Dakota to Illinois for the past 7 years. The states make the cause that shutting down Dakota Access Pipeline causes significant harm by, quote, hurting farmers, costing states hundreds of millions of dollars in property tax revenue, and poses safety risks, end quote. It's now 7:20. Let's swing things back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's going down in sports?
Well, the Nebraska volleyball team will play Penn State today in the semifinals of the NCAA volleyball tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. The Huskers are 33-2 on the season and advance to the NCAA semifinals for the second time in a row and the seventh time in the last 10 years with a 3-0 sweep of Wisconsin on Sunday in the regional finals. Penn State is 33-2. And shared the Big Ten title with Nebraska with a 19-1 conference record. The Nittany Lions won the regional final against Creighton, 3-2 to advance to the NCAA semifinals for the first time since 2017. Nebraska is 28-12 all time against Penn State and has won 14 of the last 16 meetings. First serve will be at approximately 8 o'clock tonight, or 30 minutes after the conclusion of the first game between Pittsburgh and Louisville. 4 Nebraska volleyball players have been named to the American Volleyball Coaches Association All-America teams. Andy Jackson and Lexi Rodriguez were named to the first team, Well, Harper Murray and Bergen Riley were named to the second team. For Rodriguez, it's the fourth time that she has been named an All-American. She was on the first team in 2021 and 2023, and on the second team in 2022. Hastings College men's basketball team dropped their second straight game on their Florida road trip with a 77-70 loss to the University of Fort Lauderdale last night in North Miami. The Broncos now 1-11 on the season. They'll play at Friends University on December the 31st. Tip-off of the game will be at 1. Hastings College women's basketball team will play Benedictine of Kansas today in the Honolulu Classic at the Shark Tank. The Broncos are 7-3 on the season. Benedictine is ranked outside the nation's top 25. They're at number 26 this week. Tip-off for the game will be at 3. Tomorrow, Hastings will battle second-ranked Indiana Wesleyan. High school basketball continues tomorrow night. St. Cecilia will play at Sutton. The girls' game will be at 6, with the boys to follow at 7:30. We'll have the action here on Extreme Sports, beginning with the pregame show at 5:45 tomorrow afternoon. Other action, Adams Central will play host to Fillmore Central. Hastings High will begin play in the Eastern Midlands Conference Tournament. The boys will host Lincoln Standing Bear, while the girls will play at Blair. College football action last night. James Madison beat Western Kentucky 27-17 in the Boca Raton Bowl. And Nevada Las Vegas defeated California 24-13 in the LA Bowl. Tonight you get Georgia Southern against Sam Houston in the New Orleans Bowl. That's a check on your sports headlines this morning. It is 7:23 on Extreme Sports.
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Mainly clear skies today with a high of 53. Northwesterly winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. 14 tonight, clear skies. Tomorrow, 30. Warmer Saturday and Sunday with highs from the upper 30s to the upper 40s. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Frobley. Currently, it's 33 degrees.
And we've got west winds this morning at about 10, gusting to 21. So thanks for Paul Trombley for stepping in. Timmy boy, Tim Jones has next couple of days off, lucky devil. 7:24 now on Extreme Sports. You're listening to Huddle Up with Mike and Tyson.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Located at 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings. At Bamboo Spa, we offer a range of therapies to help you unwind and recharge. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating head spa scalp treatments, and our Advanced Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing power of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Become a member for exclusive 24-hour access to our therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members enjoy 20% off all services and 10% off products in our non-toxic retail shop. Visit our Facebook page to learn more and book your appointment today. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, truly holistic care, designed for you.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the advanced funeral planning specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Extreme Sports has been bringing you the exclusive home of Hastings College Athletics, and we're just getting started. thanks to our incredible sponsors and your support. Extreme Sports 2 has been a huge success. And now we're excited to announce the launch of Extreme Sports 3. With Extreme Sports 3, you'll get even more local sports coverage. Plus, 24/7 access to Sports by Line, where you'll hear the best in national sports talk. Whether it's Hastings College, high school action, or the latest from around the sports world, we've got it covered across all 3 streams. And don't forget, when we're not broadcasting games, join us weekday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for Huddle Up with Mike Will and Tyson Havronik. It's the perfect way to start your day with sports, news, weather, and great local interviews. So tune in, check out all 3 streams, and stay with us for even more sports coverage coming soon. Thank you to our sponsors for making it all possible, and to you, our listeners, for keeping Extreme Sports strong.
All right, Mike Will, Tyson Havronik with you. Huddle Up on Extreme Sports 727 for this Thursday. And again, if you're watching on Facebook Live, watching on Roku TV, or you're watching any place we've got the cameras set up, you get a little treat there. When we take these little breaks, you get a little treat.
Yeah, I like treats. Speaking of treats,
yeah,
that's a good segue because today is Hard Candy Day to celebrate all the favorite hard candies. Do you have a favorite hard candy, or are you more of a soft, chewy?
I'm a soft, chewy type of guy.
Yep, sames.
I'm really not a hard candy guy. I guess the peppermint things I have occasionally.
Okay.
So I'm not really a hard candy guy. I know a lot of people are, though.
I'd probably say, like, Jolly Ranchers would be my favorite hard candy, but I'm with you. And I always seem to forget, like, that if you take a bite into a Jolly Rancher, it will inevitably stick to the roof of your teeth until you go to the dentist. So, yeah, Jolly Rancher would be my favorite, but I'm definitely like a soft, chewy kind of candy person. It is also Oatmeal Muffin Day today, which sounds gross. And have you ever regifted anything? Like a gift that you got for Christmas? Did you turn around and you've done it? You've regifted.
Oh yeah, I've done it.
What if? Wow.
I can't remember what I did. But I was looking around my house just the other day. I'm glad you mentioned. I was just looking. I said, you know what? We got to get rid of that. And it's brand new. It's still in the box. I said, we could give that to somebody for Christmas. Would you feel ashamed doing that? If you had a Christmas present that's been sitting on your shelf, I think I've got like some soap up in. No, I've got like some soap in my up in my closet, and it's brand new. Hasn't been open.
You're giving soap for a Christmas gift?
Maybe my wife got it or something. So there's some soap stuck up in the like in our closet, and it's brand new. It hasn't been open.
Okay.
It smells gross. The soap smells gross. I said, who could I give that to?
If it's never been open, how do you know it smells gross?
Well, I opened it up just to smell it, and I sealed it back. Well, it's kind of got a little flip thing on it, so I smelled it. It smells gross, and it's been sitting up in my closet for a couple of years. I just saw it the other day. I said, who could I give that to? Like somebody. I shouldn't be saying this because my family listens to the show.
Right, all of them.
And then it's going to be like in their stocking.
Is this gross-smelling soap?
Is this gross soap that you were talking about on the show the other day?
You re-gifted? Yeah, trapped you in that one. The only thing I've ever re-gifted is I ran into a scenario where I got the same thing from somebody.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
So I've turned around and was like, oh, that would make a perfect gift for this person. And if I get duplicates of something. But I'm never like, if there's thought, if there's intent, I don't know. I kind of hold on to those for sentimental reasons.
I'm going to walk around the house today just to look for stuff I could give away. Re-gift.
Re-gifters. It is National Gifting Day today.
That's because I haven't bought your Christmas present yet, and there might be something in this house that I could maybe share with you.
A couple beers in the back of the fridge, or what? That'd be easy.
Yeah,
I'm an easy guy to shop for. Easy guy to shop for.
All right, so what else is going on today?
Oh, National Regifting Day. We got the hard candy out of the way. Oatmeal Muffin Day. Again, that sounds gross. Judging by the comments on the Facebook pages, you are not getting the remote. That was bold and all caps from Bon.
Yeah, she says not on Thursdays.
Not a chance.
Now wait a minute. Does that mean that she don't own the remote on Thursdays? Not on Thursdays, or not? You're going to take the remote from me.
I'm gonna speculate that you are not getting the remote.
I would take that. Means. I would take that two ways. She says not on Thursdays. Does that mean she don't have the remote on Thursdays?
It's in all caps. She's like pointing at you, saying you're not getting the remote on Thursdays. It's not happening. I speak text messages, man. Like this is my lingo here.
Well, yeah, because she capitalized not.
Right.
So that means
that's emphasis.
Hell no. She should just put hell no. You're not getting the remote on Thursdays.
Well, she didn't want to type all that out. So you're not getting the remote. Sorry about your loss. You can come over and watch the game if you want.
Yeah, I'll just come over to your house.
Also, Jim has got us an update on the Fauner situation. Horses are getting comfortable on the track and into their quarters, and the season will get underway here really soon. February 15th on a Saturday. It looks like we're going to get the ponies up and running. So
yeah, Jim's going to be our expert. Jim's our expert
wait.
on Fauner Park horse racing.
It'll be a fun.
We've got to make him part of this show somehow.
Yeah.
Jimmy's already listening, so he might as well. He's already up and listening to us. He might as well chime in.
Like a little paddock report.
Well, he's like the main guru. He is like Bob Jensen is the high school sports.
Yep.
Jim is that to Fauner Park horse racing and horse racing everywhere. He knows the horses. Yeah, maybe we can get some picks. Maybe we can make some money.
That's how we can continue the Blazing Five. We do the Pick Five.
Horse racing?
Pick 5 races down at Fauner. Get Jim involved. I like that idea.
Yeah, Jim, he's the expert on horse racing. We'll get him on somehow.
Ryan Martin is going to re-gift an old remote and send it to you.
It wouldn't work on my TVs. It wouldn't work on my TVs.
That's sad.
Let's see what else is going on. Oh, Amber, she chimed in. Have you been following at all the NASCAR lawsuit? Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, who own a race team, has sued NASCAR, and I don't know all the legal parameters on this thing, but they're suing NASCAR because they think they have a monopoly on racing in America. So Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin went through all this stuff, and they sued NASCAR. Well, yesterday they came up with a court ruling that was in favor of Denny and Michael Jordan.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. So you'll have to read into it because it's
Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan take down NASCAR.
Well, they didn't take him down. They just won a major step in their lawsuit. Denny and Michael Jordan, they get another race team. They're going to buy another car for their race team. That came from the Stuart Haas. You don't have to read into it because you're not a racing guru, and you would have a hard time following this. But Denny and Michael Jordan. How surprising is that? That the judge ruled in their favor yesterday, and they're all happy.
Well, especially going up against corporate America like NASCAR. You generally think that you don't have a puncher's chance in hell. I don't.
They're all happy.
Yeah, sure. Good for them.
I'll have to listen to Denny's. He's off because they're not racing, so he usually has a weekly podcast that I listen to.
Sure.
He should have an emergency one this week because he's victorious.
Get him on the horn.
It. I like it when the little guy beats. Yeah, he could call into this show.
Yeah.
We got contacts. Yeah, Denny Hamlin, he could call into this show. We'll put him on.
That would kind of put us into another stratosphere, wouldn't it?
Yeah, does Denny have our number? 402-834-1330.
Someone pass that to his guys.
Yeah, pass it along to his guys. If Denny has a chance, could he call in today and we can review what the hell happened with this court thing? Because it's a lengthy process. I was reading it, my head was spinning. And I follow NASCAR, so I kind of know more about it than the average Joe. But my head was spinning yesterday. I was reading the court thing.
And if Hamlin can't make it, if you get to Hamlin's guys and Hamlin has prior engagements, we can take Michael Jordan. I mean, we'll settle for Michael Jordan.
Yeah, we'll settle for Michael. Anyway, Nebraska's playing tonight. The players and the coaches were all in front of the media yesterday at the Yum Center. God, I still like that name.
You pause every time you say it, and I can just see you smiling.
I am.
Say the Yum Center, and it
the
just
Yum
puts a
Center.
smile on your face.
But you see where Hastings College women were playing today in Honolulu?
The Shark Tank?
They're playing at the Shark Tank.
Yep.
That's another good name for an arena.
That's the SAP Center in San Jose for the NHL hockey franchise, the San Jose Sharks. They call it the Shark Tank.
The Shark Tank in Honolulu and the Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky.
You love the names.
Anyway, Lexi Rodriguez, as we mentioned, she was named a 4-time All-American yesterday, and they asked her about that in the press conference.
I think it's just really cool. I mean, it's something that, Coach challenges everyone to come in and be their best and try and be an All-American. But ultimately, I just think it's really cool that everyone kind of believed that I could do it. And my coaches always believed in me and my teammates did. And, they were just always so supportive of me. So I owe it all to them and for all that they've done to help me get to where I am today.
Bergen Riley was also on hand for the Huskers, and she talked about returning to the Final Four for the second straight season.
Yeah, it's just a little more comfort in knowing that I've been through it before, and obviously this is a huge stage and this is what we work for all year, so I don't know if you can necessarily ever say that you're fully comfortable, but just having another year of experience, having it under my belt has helped a lot, just confidence-wise and comfort-wise, I guess, but we're really excited to be back and hopefully get it done this year.
Merritt Beeson was also on hand, and she said she was excited about facing Penn State for the second time this season.
It's awesome for us. We get another chance. Obviously, we didn't come out on top the first time that we played Penn State, and so I think we're really excited to just have another chance. But I think the way we're kind of trying to go about it this year is just like we get another day, and only 4 teams are in that position right now, and so I think we're just trying to take it day by day, and one of our mottos has kind of been it's not us like versus Penn State, or it wasn't us versus Wisconsin or whoever we played, it's us in the Final Four, and no matter who's on the other side of the net, we're gonna focus on our side and do whatever it takes to get the job done. And so I think kind of like Bergen said, obviously we learned a lot from last year, and I think we are kind of going about it differently a little bit this year just because we have that experience. So there's pros and cons, just like pretty much everything. I think we're excited just to get another opportunity.
So the Huskers and Penn State tonight will be approximately 8 o'clock or 30 minutes after the conclusion of the first game between Pittsburgh and Louisville. I bet Nebraska gets the job done tonight. I bet they beat Penn State.
I bet, they'll get the job done. I bet it will be late volleyball this evening. I'm going to assume that Pitt and Louisville could probably go 5, and that would put us off to some Husker volleyball after dark, so to speak. So but I'm with you. I think they get the job done. We'll say Huskers in 4.
I say it goes 5.
You think 5?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think both games will go 5 tonight.
Lexi got to set the career digs record with 1882. Record is 1890, so 8 digs, and she's got the Husker career record. But I think they've got bigger goals in mind.
She'll get that in the first set.
Yep.
Anyway, it's tonight at 8 or somewhere close, and then the winners will play on the Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock for the NCAA National Championship in the Yum Center.
Yum Center.
Well, they're going to give out, like, chicken.
I don't think that's how it works.
Do they give that out, the Yum Center?
Pretty sure that just the sponsorship of the arena.
Yeah, I give out chicken. They shouldn't they? It's the Yum Center.
They're giving out a national championship trophy. I think that they're going to want that more than a chicken wing. Give me some damn wings.
Just give me some damn chicken wings, will you?
Congratulations, you've won the championship. Give me some damn wings.
Just give me some damn chicken wings, will you?
Oh, mercy.
Yeah, if I went to the Yum Center, I'd want some chicken wings. I bet they sell them there.
Actual wings or boneless?
No, we can't get into this boneless chicken wing discussion again because boneless chicken wings are not chicken wings. Those are chicken bites. You got to have wings. You got to have bones in your wings. I bet they sell them there. I bet they do.
Sure, it's the main sponsorship.
Isn't Kentucky Fried Chicken the sponsorship of that joint?
It is KFC Yum Center.
I bet they do. I bet they sell chicken there.
Gotta have somebody that goes to investigate.
Yeah, anybody's at the NCAA Final Four, call us. You'll be probably on hold because Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan will be ahead of you. But if you hang on, we can probably get to you standing in line at the Yum Center in Louisville. Give us their menu. What about this guy that ran over the power pole last night?
Yeah.
Took out the power pole and knocked the whole city or the northern tier of Hastings without power last night for a couple of hours.
Yeah, good. I saw some of the accident photos that were popping up on Facebook, but yeah, for about 3 hours, 500 plus customers in Northwest Hastings, and I would notice that First Street was filling up quite a bit yesterday as people were coming in saying, I don't have power, so just go down to the brewery. Thought it was like an excellent decision by a lot of people.
Yeah, like Walmart was knocked out. You couldn't do your Christmas shopping last night. Amber and Dennis, they were at the Blue Fork. Trying to enjoy Dennis's birthday.
Lights
got their water served, and then boink, lights went out. Had to go somewhere else. Yeah, anyway, it knocked out the power to a majority of northern Hastings and beyond. I think a TV station was affected. Anyway,
I got caught in a bar one time when it was storming outside and power went out, and we all just lit up our phones and continued to party down. So
really, everybody just turned on their phones.
Everyone just turned on their phones. They kept serving. It was great. It was a fun time.
God,
lights went out in Sluggers. I remember that night.
You might know.
Also, chiming in, if they are more worried about a championship over chicken wings, they need to change their priorities.
Just give me some damn chicken wings, will you?
The Yum Center.
No, I'm not talking to players going up and getting chicken wings. I'm talking about the fans. Wouldn't that be great? Lexi Rodriguez runs up the stairs to the concession stand, brings down 50 wings. 50 wings for her teammates.
Don't know if that's in the pregame nutritional plan for the Nebraska volleyball team.
Some wings.
Gonna guess it's probably not, especially mid-match.
Couple other sports notes today. Washington State transfer quarterback John Batir has committed to Oklahoma. He was the number one overall player in ESPN's transfer rankings. He joins the Sooners after a breakthrough season as the Cougars starter in 2024. He'll have 2 more seasons of eligibility remaining. Oklahoma has hired Washington State's offensive coordinator and their quarterbacks coach. Then they plucked this quarterback from Washington State out of the transfer portal. So all these guys back together in Norman. After backing up Cam Ward for 2 years, Mateer took over the Cougars offense, threw for 3,139 yards, 29 touchdowns, 65% passing. He was one of the top dual threat playmakers in FBS, ranking 6th among all quarterbacks with 827 rushing yards and scoring 15 rushing touchdowns. So sounds like you don't want to play Oklahoma next year. The Sooners have the number one quarterback in the transfer portal. They've also plucked the quarterback's coach and the offensive coordinator away from Washington State, so they're all back as a team in Oklahoma.
Making some big moves over there for in Sooner country. I think we are welcoming in this weekend the Purdue quarterback that's in the transfer portal. He's going to be taking a visit to Lincoln. I was reading that somewhere. Purdue's quarterback could be a likely backup scenario to Raiola, making a visit.
If you were the starting quarterback at Purdue, would you take backup status at Nebraska?
Hell yes.
Would you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Purdue was, God, they were miserable.
I know, but obviously if Purdue was miserable, their quarterback was miserable. Why are we looking at him? There's got to be somebody better.
I don't know. Like, the backup's kind of a cool gig, really, when you think about it. You don't have to get on the field. Everybody's constantly cheering for you because, especially in Nebraska, like you throw one interception and everyone gets on the quarterback and wants next man up. Put the backup in. Backup's kind of a cool gig. And then you go in and save the day, like make one good drive, and you're the savior of the university. Yeah.
I hope they look for somebody else. I don't even know the guy. I'm already making that determination, and I don't even know the guy.
I mean, the other thing is this, right? Like, Harburg's still there, and obviously they're transitioning him away from quarterback, but he still has that opportunity to, if Raiola was to go down next season, he could slide right back into the quarterback role. And the other thing is, we're not, when you have starting opportunities, right, and you're a big name, you're not going to want to come be the backup. You're going to want to look for other opportunities. So I don't think we're going to be able to like get a splash quarterback in there for a backup. Certainly not like an elite 11 or a 5-star like a Danny Kalen. These guys are going to go produce somewhere. So, just give me a serviceable quarterback that can hand the ball off so we can run the damn ball.
Not like John Matier, the number 1 quarterback going to Oklahoma. The Saints have signed former Kansas City Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire to the practice squad.
There you go.
He was released by the Chiefs earlier this week, has not played a down for Kansas City this year. The Saints running back Alvin Kamara, his status for Monday's game against the Packers is currently unknown after he left Sunday's game because of a groin injury. So Edwards-Helaire is now on the practice squad for the Saints, possibly could be called up. He was a 2020 first-round draft pick out of LSU. Again, he was waived by the Chiefs on Monday. So if you got Clyde the Glide on your fantasy team, never fear. He's now on the practice squad for the Saints. Keep watching on the playing status of Alvin Kamara.
Clyde the Guide?
Clyde the Glide.
The Clyde the Glide. Oh, I thought you said Clyde the Guide.
No.
I'm like, what did he guide them to?
Yeah, he hasn't played all year. Let's see. 2 days after Dave Clawson announced his resignation, Wake Forest has hired Washington State's Jake Dinkert as his replacement. Boy, a lot of Washington State news.
Washington State's getting picked apart.
So Washington State has a new head coach, too. Dinkert was in his 3rd full season at Washington State, guided the Cougars to an 8-4 record this year. He was given the axe, evidently, or did he quit? He announced his resignation.
Huh.
So anyway,
probably because he lost his quarterback's coach, and everybody else.
And his offensive coordinator.
And who wants to play in the Mountain West / Pac-2? Nobody.
So Dave Clawson is out, and Jake Dinkert is in. That's at
there you go.
Washington State. Let's see. One other note I got today. Phil Longo. Remember that name?
Phil who?
Phil Longo.
Nope.
He was the offensive coordinator at Wisconsin.
Okay.
He got fired.
Oh yeah, because they were horrible.
Yeah, he's got a new gig.
Oh God.
He's gonna be a head coach for the first time. So you get fired at Wisconsin because your offense sucks.
Yep.
And then you get on with Sam Houston.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's the new head coach of Sam Houston.
They're playing in the bowl game tonight.
That's right. Who the hell's coaching? That's right. Is Sam Houston? Yeah, they're playing Georgia Southern tonight. Wonder who's coaching.
Maybe like the last hurrah for their head coach or interim head coach. I don't know. Demi Boy knows something.
Maybe one of the coordinators.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Houston. He's filling the vacancy of Casey Keeler. He departed. No, he's not going to coach today. He departed for the same job at Temple.
Huh.
This is the first FBS head coaching job for Longo, who previously served as the Bearcats offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach from 2014 to 2016. Rejoins the program on the heels of his offensive coordinator stint at Wisconsin. He's also held a similar role at North Carolina and Ole Miss. And now the old offensive coordinator for Wisconsin is the head coach at Sam Houston.
Well, put me on unders for all of the Sam Houston Bearcats games next year.
Yeah.
Also, little E, no, if the power goes out at a bar, your tab does not go away. But that's a good thought, though. I like that idea.
But you would have to have someone total up your bar tab, and lately, the people that work in those establishments,
sure,
I have a tough time believing that you could add 14 drinks that I have at the table all together and come up with my bar tab. Could you do that? You kind of work in that atmosphere sometimes. If the power went out at your place of establishment,
yep,
and you just stayed open and kept serving drinks to this table, and all of a sudden you got a big table of, let's say, 15 people.
Okay.
And they say, hey, just put that all on one tab. Could you come up with the total?
Easy.
Well, you got a calculator.
Right. You got a calculator on your phone, which
so you're going to...
And you just make little tallies on a little piece of notepad. Every time you get a beer, you make a little slash.
And then you'd have to, like, add the tax. You could do that. You could multiply the tax.
I'd have to take a look at the Nebraska tax rate again, but...
Yeah, sometimes I have my doubts because I go like a concession stand. I'll go to a concession stand and get me a hot dog and maybe a pop. It's supposed to be like $7.
Okay.
So I give them a 20.
You get $13 back?
No, I get like $18 or $20 back in change.
Wait, how do you work that system?
Yeah, they mess it up all the time.
You give them a 20 and you get more than a 20 back? That's outstanding.
Sometimes I do. Now, do you tell the individual that you didn't make change right, or do you just stuff that money in your pocket?
It's their job to give you the right change back. If they give you too much, then thank you very much. Appreciate you.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. That's what I would do, and that's what I do. I don't say, hey, you messed up, give me change. That's their job to figure it out.
It really is. And I know that that makes me sound awful and horrible inside, but
I sound horrible until about I feel bad until I get about 2 steps away from the concession stand. Then I just kind of laugh.
Money.
Then I laugh and say, hey, if you can't figure it out, I can't help you. So people working in concession stands, if you see me coming, make sure that
you got the right change.
You got my change right, or you could be part of this show someday.
There you go. Also, there's people waiting behind you, so you just got to get your money and go. You don't got time to give them a lesson in mathematics, and you don't want to embarrass them either. So you just
you don't want to embarrass them.
Thanks very much.
Thanks. You stick your money in your pocket, get 2 steps away.
I'll make sure and see you again real soon. We'll try this again.
I just made $3 getting a hot dog and a Pepsi. Anyway, you're working up with Mike and Tyson this morning. This is Huddle Up on Extreme Sports at 7:54.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
News this hour brought to you in part by the Hastings Federal Credit Union, where they've been lighting the way to financial success since 1946. You can access your accounts wherever you go with mobile banking, bringing you financial peace of mind straight from the palm of your hand. Securely and conveniently manage your accounts and loans at any time from anywhere. Transfer funds, deposit checks, pay bills with Bill Pay, and quickly access your account balances to help cover whatever little curveballs life throws your way with mobile banking today. One of the many ways you can experience the credit union difference. That's Hastings Federal Credit Union at 707 North Marion Road or online, hastingsfcu.org. Hastings Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender. Power was out for a good portion of Hastings last night as electric distribution crews responded at 6 p.m. to an outage affecting a large area in northwest Hastings, including more than 500 customers. The outage was caused by a vehicle accident at Highway 281 and 42nd, which left wires down in an open breaker. Power was rerouted by 9 p.m. and further repairs will be made this morning to the damaged system. Meanwhile, a Grand Island police officer was arrested for suspicion of DUI over the weekend, and an investigation into the incident is underway. Grand Island Police Chief Kevin Denny said in a statement, quote, Over the weekend, we did have one of our GIPD officers arrested for suspicion of DUI. The DUI investigation is being performed by the Nebraska State Patrol. The officer in question currently on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. The police department takes these allegations seriously. It is an unfortunate situation, and I remind you that the officer, like everyone else, is entitled to their rights under the law. End quote. And we finish in Kearney, where Roger Jasnuk, the director of the Kearney Visitors Bureau, has announced his retirement after nearly 40 years of service. His last day will be June 27th. Throughout his tenure, Roger's legacy includes the inception of community projects such as the Kearney Area Community Foundation, the Archway, the Viero Center, and the American Automobile Experience. 7:56, we'll swing it back to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's happening in sports?
Well, the Nebraska volleyball team will play Penn State today in the semifinals of the NCAA volleyball tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. Huskers are 33-2 on the season and advance to the NCAA semifinals for the second time in a row and for the seventh time in the last 10 years with a 3-0 sweep of Wisconsin on Sunday in the regional finals. Penn State is 33-2. And shared the Big Ten title with Nebraska with a 19-1 conference record. The Nittany Lions won their regional final against Creighton 3-2 to advance to the NCAA semifinals for the first time since 2017. Nebraska is 28-12 all-time against Penn State and has won 14 of the last 16 meetings. First serve will be at approximately 8 o'clock or 30 minutes after the conclusion of the first game between Pittsburgh and Louisville. 4 Nebraska volleyball players have been named to the American Volleyball Coaches Association All-America teams. Andy Jackson and Lexi Rodriguez were named to the first team, while Harper Murray and Bergen Riley were named to the second team. For Rodriguez, it's the fourth time that she has been named an All-American. She was on the first team in 2021 and 2023, and on the second team in 2022. Hastings College men's basketball team dropped their second straight game on their Florida road trip with a 77-70 loss to the University of Fort Lauderdale last night in North Miami. The Broncos now 1-11 on the season and will play at Friends University on December the 31st. Tip-off will be at 1. Hastings College women's basketball team will play Benedictine of Kansas today in the Honolulu Classic at the Shark Tank. Broncos are 7-3 on the season. Benedictine is ranked just outside the nation's top 25. They are in at number 26 this week. Tip-off will be at 3. Tomorrow, Hastings will battle the number 2 ranked team in the nation, Indiana Wesleyan. College football last night, James Madison beat Western Kentucky 27-17 in the Boca Raton Bowl. Nevada, Las Vegas defeated California 24-13 in the L.A. Bowl. Tonight you get Georgia Southern against Sam Houston in the New Orleans Bowl. That's a check in your sports headlines here this morning.
Here's a look at your weather forecast, powered by weatherology.com. Mainly clear today with a high of 53. Northwesterly winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, lows level off around 14. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 30. Turning warmer Saturday and Sunday with highs from the upper 30s to the upper 40s. And that's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Fromley. Currently, it's 30.
It's 33, and we got west winds at 10, gusting to 21 this morning at Extreme Sports.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Located at 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings. At Bamboo Spa, we offer a range of therapies to help you unwind and recharge. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating head spa scalp treatments, and our Advanced Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing power of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Become a member for exclusive 24-hour access to our therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members enjoy 20% off all services and 10% off products in our non-toxic retail shop. Visit our Facebook page to learn more and book your appointment today. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, truly holistic care, designed for you.
All right, time to get out the door. It's coming up on 8 o'clock here on Extreme Sports. Again, TV watching tonight. We've got Husker volleyball That's going to be on ESPN tonight. You watch the first match gets underway at about 5:30, 6 o'clock or so. So volleyball on ESPN. We've got an NFL football game on Prime Video tonight. Denver and the Chargers, 7:15 on Prime Video.
Okay.
Bowl action, is that on ESPN?
Yeah, 6 p.m. Georgia Southern and Sam Houston this evening. And then if you're wanting to head over to the ice, Blues Lightning tonight, also 6 p.m. I'm going to have to get the multicast going tonight.
No, how's the bowl game can't be on ESPN?
It's on
tonight.
ESPN2. ESPN2, sorry.
All right, so bowl game's on ESPN2. New Orleans Bowl. Georgia Southern without, Sam Houston's got
Houston without
no
their
coach.
Head coach. Yep.
Anyway, you and I are on Georgia Southern tonight. Timmy Boy, our resident experts. Put that in quotation marks, the expert.
37 points. What was I thinking with 35 points tonight? Oh, well.
He's on Sam Houston.
Yeah.
All right, so that's your...
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap on another day.
I got nothing left for you.
Now, my plate is now empty.
Friday, Blazing 5. Got to make your picks today.
And then we'll have some more bowl selections tomorrow.
Yep, college football playoffs going on for our Blazing 5, plus some NFL action, so tune in for that, 7:30.
A lot of stuff going on tomorrow.
We got Bowl Bonanza, Blazing 5. God, we're all over the place. We're going to have time for news and sports tomorrow, hopefully. With all of our picks that we got to get in.
Oh, we'll get them in. And we'd like to have you join us, too. Make it a point, 402-834-1330. Put that number down in your speed dial.
There you go.
Your contact list on your phone so you can call us. So you don't have to remember our number. You can call us anytime to join in on this show. You can drop us a message anytime, Facebook Live or Twitch, wherever you're watching us, because we're all over the place. Hey, thanks for... Oh, that's right. Don't forget if you...
Yeah, if you don't call us, we'll call you.
We're going to start doing that.
Yep.
By the first of the year, if people don't start calling us, we're going to just start calling people.
There you go. I like that.
Right after the first of the year at 7:15 in the morning. Hey, what are you doing? Anyway, if you want to listen to this show again, you can. You can go to Roku, get our app there, and you can listen to us again if you'd like to. Maybe on the podcast section, wherever you guys chimed in.
YouTube archives as well.
Yeah, YouTube. Anyway, you'll find us. Anyway, if you'd like to listen to the show again, you can do that. Or you can join us again tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock here on Extreme Sports. Thanks for joining us. Have yourself a great day.
You've been listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, Central Nebraska's new home for sports. Join us every weekday morning from 7 until 8 on Extreme Sports.
And then you've seen him play through the National Football League for a season, almost a full season now. And you say he makes good decisions, right? He's a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio as a quarterback. I think you make sure you just don't give up the big plays. I mean, I think you play drop back. Maybe you disguise some coverages, things like that, but you keep things in front of you in this game. You just don't give up those chunk plays that you're always worried about in the National Football League. I don't think they can afford that. Look, Asante Samuel Jr. has certainly been a roller coaster somewhat for the Charger fans. Like, there's been times where he's been wonderful, and there's been times he's been frustrating. They've missed him. I mean, this team has missed him in the back end. They've missed that part of that secondary that's just not been cohesive. But I think you cover that up by playing more off the ball. You're playing more of the zones. You're playing and making Bo Nix have to put that 13-play drive together, which he can do. He's a smart guy. He knows where to go with the football. That's the biggest thing I think when you watch Bo Nix is like he understood what Sean Payton's trying to do in a very verbose offense, right? I mean, this to get a play call out, we've all seen John Gruden. Sean Payton's the same way with his play calling. This thing takes forever just to get it out of your mouth. And so Bo can do that. That's big. If I'm the Chargers, I make sure I control the clock, and I make sure he has to have long drives to go win, not a 6-play drive for a touchdown. I want 13-play drives that'll stall out in field goals.
We saw the opening number at 3 again, down to 2.5 in most places. The total has come down as well, which I don't think is unexpected. 42, seeing some 41s as well, 41.5s out there. So it has trickled down as the week is going on. But Mark, you think that maybe you might get more offense than people expect tonight? How does that offense come? Are we talking turnovers, or is it no? We're gonna maybe dink and dunk and then look for that big play over the top.
Yeah, I just think that the Chargers are going to put more points on the board. The Broncos, like I said, they've been trending for more points as of late. And I think that if you look at the Chargers, I think that was an anomaly in terms of what happened. We talked about the second half. I think the Chargers will find a way to get more points on the board this week. I just feel confident that both teams can get in the 20s, that kind of a game. Or one team, if I'm going to pull somebody away, I'm going to pull the Chargers away just because they're at home and because I think Harbaugh is going to get these guys motivated to go out there and play a really good game tonight. So I feel like there's going to be a little more scoring than what the people anticipate based off of the Chargers are playing terrible and Bo Nix is a rookie. I see it differently. And usually I'm a little bit more stubborn. I'm a more defensive guy at heart just because I believe in that side of the ball so much. But this one feels like it's going to be a little different game that way. I think we're going to see a couple big plays down the field against the Broncos that you wouldn't expect. And I think those are going to be big touchdowns. They're going to put some points on the board early.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm kind of stubborn that way. I don't like to just give up those points that easily. But I think you're onto something here with that low total of 41. By the way, you get all of our expert picks when you become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Got a great holiday special for you right now, all the way through May 1st for just $79. So again, literally through every major sport you can think of, and that's going to get you into baseball season if you can think that far ahead into 2025. Exclusive betting splits, the VSiN Experts Leaderboard, VSiN.com/subscribe. $79 covers you all the way through May 1st, so no better time than the present. And no better time than possibly finishing off the AFC North if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that gets us to the Lombardi Line game of the week presented by Lowe's. It is in Charm City. It's a really good one, obviously, with the Steelers and the Ravens. And Mark, we talked about this game all week and for very good reason, because it does feel like here that if the Ravens are going to win this division, they have to win this game, because if they don't, they lose it. And that'll be 2 wins in hand for the Steelers. They wrap up the division on Saturday. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, and I think we always think this is even, the defenses might not be even this year. And we don't know about Watt, and that's a big deal here for TJ if he can go for the Steelers, and that could affect things here. But is it as clear-cut as saying, yes, this is where the Steelers have an advantage over the Ravens?
Yes, it is. I mean, I've been saying that since the beginning of the summer. Like, this Pittsburgh defense is one of the best defenses in the National Football League by far. And, they had rotation of pass rushers. Nate Herbig is a guy that's behind the scenes, or Nick Herbig is behind the scenes, is a really good pass rusher. So they've got multiple guys that can get after the quarterback, as well as Joey Porter's kind of growing himself into the role of being that, number one corner, and they're better in the back end than they've been before. So I think overall, this Steelers team is physical. And you always think of the Ravens as like, okay, that's a great defense and they're a good offense. This is different. The Ravens are still a younger defense, and the offense is really dynamic. And I think that's the part that you look at. And yes, I think Watt's a huge piece of this puzzle, but obviously Pickens is a big piece of this puzzle as well. I feel like the Ravens offensively are so hard to handle. And I think as long as their defense doesn't, I think that the defense is going to be able to hold up well enough against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I have been a Steelers fan all season, but I think you're going to see a lot of Derrick Henry. I think it's going to be a very physical game. Kind of that, whenever we would, and when I was the GM of the Bucs, and we would play the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, I knew that I had to get down to the training room after that game as fast as possible because it was going to be painful. And this is going to be that game, but I'm just going to throttle the ball at them downhill with Derrick Henry as much as I possibly can, and then I'll just win the ball over the top and then try to see if I can hit some beat. So I think this is going to be a very tough hill to climb for the Pittsburgh Steelers. As much as they're, a really good football team, I can see where this line is and why it's there.
Mark, I'm just stunned, though, because I'm looking at Lamar's numbers, and they're stunning. 34 touchdown passes, only 3 picks, over 3,400 yards right now through the air. We all know what he can do at 3,500 yards through the air, and obviously we know what he can do with his legs, right? He's got over, right now, he's running the ball 743 yards already. Derrick Henry's doubled that, 1,474. They approach this thing differently, don't they, the Steelers? I think everybody looks to try to stop Lamar Jackson. They try to do what you said. They're going to try to stop Derrick Henry. Is that the difference? Because they're open about it. Lamar's 1A. If that's 1A, that's a hell of a 1A right there with those numbers.
Yeah, I think the hard thing on Lamar Jackson is it's hard to control. Like, I can try to control the run game against Derrick Henry, right? I can set the defense to do that. But when Lamar Jackson breaks out of a huddle and breaks out of a play and makes something happen, I can't control that. Like, that's going to just be a natural nuance of the game. So how can I control the part I can? It's trying to stop Derrick Henry. That's got to be the number one focus. As great as Lamar is, there are things that he's going to do that just don't make sense. And you're like, that's just a great football player. That was just uncanny how that played apart. Unlike, where's my fit in the run game and where do I need to be to make sure I stop Derrick Henry from bouncing the ball outside, or there's a gap inside that we hit that, we should have had another, the twist that should have came in that A gap. So that's where I think the Pittsburgh Steelers say, like, how do we fix those little holes and how do we control that? You can only control one thing. I think they're going to try to control Derrick Henry. I just don't think they're going to do it.
That's the key. Can they stop the big rig from running downhill? If they do, and you can make them one-dimensional and make Lamar beat you with his arm, which he can do, that seems to be the recipe for the formula for success here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, when we come back, Mark, get ready. Mike Palm going to join us for a couple segments in studio, and Palm's Pressing 3 later on this hour.
With the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report, I'm Charlie Pellett. The Tampa Bay Rays have secured their future in West Central Florida's county officials approved a crucial bond sale for the team's proposed new stadium. The Pinellas County Board of Commissioners has voted to greenlight more than $300 million of bonds, a key part of the $1.37 billion project in St. Petersburg's historic gas plant district. The Washington Commanders are another step closer to the possibility of returning to the franchise's old home in the nation's capital. A provision to transfer the land that is the site of the old RFK Stadium from the federal government to the District of Columbia is included in Congress's short-term spending bill. And the transformation of Guaranteed Rate Field is officially underway as the home of the Chicago White Sox adopts a new name, and that is Rate Field. And that's the Bloomberg Business of Sports Report. I'm Charlie Pellett.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Extreme Sports, the ultimate destination for sports enthusiasts.
This is the greatest record in the history of sports.
Broadcasting live 24/7.
Just have some fun out here, and enjoy the journey of all this of trying to get 16 wins and going after a gold trophy.
We give the people what they want.
And I am a huge sports fan. I love sports.
Shop Gary Michaels Clothiers for all the men and women on your Christmas list. They have everything from stocking stuffers like cologne, wallets, tie bars, and Brighton jewelry to complete outfits from head to toe, including socks and Johnston and Murphy footwear. Save big with sports coats now 30% off, ladies Husker wear 25% off, and men's and ladies outerwear also 25% off. Enjoy free gift wrapping, and don't forget to pick up those gift cards. Visit Gary Michaels Clothiers in downtown Hastings and on the Bricks in Kearney.
Tonight with Denver going to L.A. Dave Ross, Mark Dominic, and look who's in studio. The great Mike Palm joins us here, of course, does operations here at Circa and the D. I mean, you run everything pretty much.
No, not really.
I mean, downtown you do, right?
In Southern Nevada. No, part of a large team that worked for Derek that
try to deliver a great experience to everyone.
And you do. And Mark and I were talking about it here leading up to your appearance that Circus Survivor is an amazing contest. I think it really has captivating the betting community, that's for sure. Can you tell us where we stand? Are we down to 50 people now?
Yeah, yes, 50 entries. 48 people, Dave, because 2 gentlemen have 2 entries left still, and then 46 people have 1. It's really amazing because we started out with 14,200 and change, and in the first 5 weeks, we lost 78%, right? The chaos of September with all the big upsets. In the last 5 weeks, we've lost 5. We've gone from 55 to 50 in 5 weeks.
Tight.
So think about that, right? Think about losing 97% of the entries, 13,000 entries, and then only losing 10% over 5 weeks. The only one we had last week was the Thursday night game. One person was on the 49ers.
Wow.
That's it. So, there's close calls here and there, but everybody got through. So it looks like this Sunday there's some very decent options, or Monday, when you include the Packers. But then it's going to get so hard, and I want to ask both of you. I'll give you the rundown for the Christmas window. But so let's start with Sunday, though, because if you go to Monday night, there's 2 touchdown favorite, the Packers, 14.5, 25 of the 50. So half the folks have the Packers left.
Okay.
That's a right check mark.
Yep.
So that takes care of half the field. Now, almost everybody else has one of these 2 options. The Falcons at home to the Giants. Michael Penix.
Oh, boy.
First start. 45 of the 50 have those. And then this might be a little dicey because Kyler's not really sure about the weather. But Cardinals at Panthers, 40 of the 50 have the Cardinals. They're a 5.5-point favorite. And I'll just throw another one in there because 21 people. Now, the Bengals over the last few years have taken the most people out of Survivor.
They always
right?
knock
You just
you out.
keep going to the Bengals and they knock you out. But there's still 21 that have the Bengals left. That's how they got here, but not using the Bengals, hosting the Browns. So those seem to be the other 3 options. So let's start with the first question. The other 3 options, which would you feel more comfortable with?
Mark, I'm going to throw it right to you because it's fascinating. Do you trust a rookie quarterback, right? We've never seen Michael Penix, right? And then you got DTR starting for the Browns against the Bengals. So there's that kind of unknown. If you had this kind of money, by the way, the implied value now for the 50 entries is still at $285,000 per entry. So there's a lot at stake. Do you want to put that $285 on a rookie quarterback, a Michael Penix who hasn't played, or a guy like DTR, if you're fading these guys, rather? I don't know what the right strategy is.
Yeah, so I'd have more confidence in Michael Penix and DTR. I would fall into the trap of the Bengals. I would just fall into, once again, taking the Bengals in this situation because of how potent they have been offensively. And I know that it's going to be something dangerous. But again, as long as the Bengals continue to say we're not officially eliminated, even though it's the longest stretch ever to be able to find the way to the postseason, I can't go against the Bengals and how many points they can put on the board against DTR and the Browns. And I think Penix can play well, but because it's a rookie and I've never seen anything in the National Football League, not barely a preseason snap, and I have confidence the Falcons win, I don't have enough confidence I'd put $240,000 or $280,000 on that.
Wow. And Mike, the other point is, and Mark and I were just talking about that Ravens and Steelers game, and we have to then look ahead to your Sunday entries because it's like a second week when you get to Christmas Day and the day after Christmas. So you have to make sure you have teams that are allotted that are playing those 3 games.
That's why I throw the Ravens out as an option, even though that's really tough to play in that division, right? I mean, what are favorites of 3 or more in that? And against the spread 2 and 18 and 3 or whatever.
Not good.
I mean, it's just you paint the numbers 3 and take the dogs. It seems like. And as tough as Lamar is to defend for most of humanity and especially the NFC, the Steelers do a good job of it.
They do.
Right? But let's not forget that first game, the special teams was the difference, right?
Yeah,
Tucker misses 2 field goals and Pittsburgh makes 6. 6-6. So, I mean, that really came down to be the difference. Baltimore way outgained them in the first half. All right. So let's then transition to this very difficult Christmas window, which we've said since the schedule came out. It's the 2 Christmas games, Mark, plus the regular Thursday night game, Seahawks at Bears. And I would tell you to rank.
Oh, boy.
Let's assume you had every one of these teams available.
We have all
these
guys,
which
all these
people
options.
really only have 1 or 2, and some don't have any of the favorites.
Oh, my.
Rank these options for me. Oof. You've got Chiefs at Steelers. 7 people have the Chiefs left. Steelers will be favored in that game.
Yes.
Seemingly. Steelers, 27 people have them left. Ravens, 2.5-point look-ahead favorite at Texans. 12 people have the Ravens. 3 people have the Texans.
Oh, we got tight lines.
And then Seahawks, I mean, the look ahead before Geno went out of the game Sunday night was Seahawks 1.5 at Chicago. And, of course, that's also after Monday night when the Bears looked so bad. Seahawks, 21 people have the Seahawks left. The Bears, 31 people have them left. Rank your top 3 picks for Survivor on Christmas.
Mark, here's the problem, right, is we don't know if the Steelers win, they wrap up the division. So I don't know, Mike, you might know Mike better than I, certainly Tomlin, what he would do in that situation. Maybe he could still jockey for position. But if they wrap it up, I don't know that I want to be on the Steelers Christmas Day, right? Because the motivation, the letdown, you just beat the Ravens. Now I got to host the Chiefs, who could still be playing for that 1 seed. I mean, that's a lot. And then I look at the Ravens. If they win against the Steelers, highly motivated to go to Houston, that might be my confidence, is go Ravens. But we don't know what the outcome is yet of Saturday.
But what about the Texans? I want to argue against the Texans the rest of the way. They've won the division now. Jonathan Taylor gift-wrapped the division for them. And now what's their motivation? They're likely the 4. They could play their way into a 3. They're going to have a tough first-round game that they're going to have to host. I'm not sure that the Texans are motivated here. I think the Texans are looking to be healthy when they host this division wild card weekend game. I would go against the Texans the next 2 weeks. I've always said I like the Ravens the best of the plays, and we haven't even mentioned the Thursday game.
No, and the Thursday game, Seahawks against the Bears. And Mark, I guess the motivation, I feel like we're actors. What's my motivation? What's the motivation for the Bears, right? Because, I mean, they look like they are absolutely Sean Penn, dead man walking as a team right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could take the Bears and good luck. There's no chance I'm taking the Chicago Bears unless it's the only team I have left in my pool. I just don't believe in them. And I think even Caleb Williams is trying to, paint a rosy picture of a bad season of what they've looked like. I'm with you. I'm with you, Mike. I mean, I look at the Ravens. Even if they lose to the Steelers, they're going to have to try to find a way to. I mean, there's so much motivation behind the Ravens, win or lose, that their mentality right now is we got to win, we got to win, we got to win. And I think you're right. Houston's like, we're set. And Pittsburgh's kind of basically, we're good. We're in the postseason. Yes, and if they win, the Ravens still have to have it. So I think there's so much right there. And I think Seattle's kind of dancing around that same spot, right? They're really in danger right now of even finding their way to the postseason. And so I think those two teams, but if I had to choose one of those 6, I'd take the Ravens every time.
Let me ask you guys both. If the Chiefs, we don't know what Mahomes is going to look like, okay? But let's just say theoretically, let's say they lose to Houston this week, and then that lead shrinks to 1 game over Buffalo. Mark, you got to play him if he's good enough to go this week. You got to play. I know he hates this Mahomes 3 games in 11 days thing, but if they lose, is it more paramount that you play him against the Steelers, or can you, if you win, can you theoretically rest him? Like, what's the rest in play scenario for 15? Because I don't want to be on the Chiefs if I don't have Mahomes at quarterback.
Well, I mean, I think what you do is this, what I would do as a former GM, or as if I was the GM of the Chiefs, Brett Veach, the first thing I do as the game goes downstairs is I go to the head trainer. I say, how did he do? I don't talk to anybody else. I don't talk to Patrick. I don't talk to the head coach. I go to the head trainer and tell me, how did he get through the game? How much did we have to do? And what would we have to do to get him ready for the next week? Then I go back and see the head coach, get his perspective, Coach Reed, and say, how do you think he performed in terms of mobility? Talk to the quarterback coach before I even think about talking to Patrick Mahomes. So it all starts with how his ankle reacts in this game and how much is, what did we have to do this week leading up to this game to get him on the football field to find out if Patrick's going to play. Because here's the thing. Yes, I want the number 1 seed. I have to have Patrick Mahomes to win, and I know that we've seen this song and dance every year, it feels like. I'm not going to lose another magical season just because I don't get to play the final game in Arrowhead. I'd rather make sure I've got Patrick Mahomes in Buffalo than not Patrick Mahomes at all.
I want to make a note about tonight's game because the pressing 3 might be the whole next segment. Look, I took 3 here. Ooh. And you have to remember in that first game, I think it gets a little distorted. That's really the one game that you made Denver one-dimensional because the Chargers built such a big early lead. But I think what we're not talking about enough is Justin Herbert's ankle. They are a much different team offensively when he has the ability to run the ball. And he's on a gimpy ankle, and he doesn't have that ability to run the ball. I like the dog here tonight.
You got the full 3.
I got the full 3 because I've always known about his ankle. Right. And so, but people look at the first game and say, well, the Chargers dominated. It's a different Denver. They dominated them in Denver. I think it's a different circumstance here. And if Jonathan Taylor doesn't drop the ball at the 1, it's 20-7. And does that force them to become one-dimensional again? It's a whole different game, right?
Still can't believe that happened. By the way, gentlemen, we know the college football playoff is going to begin in earnest tomorrow with our first game. You got to get the college football betting guide now as a VSiN Pro subscriber. You get access to everything we do through May 1st, just $79. Sign up, VSiN.com/subscribe. every single game in the college football playoff will be picked by our own Brent Musburger. That alone is worth the price of admission of $79. Mark, buckle up. I know you've got some coffee. You better get a refill because Palms Pressing 3 is straight ahead.
This year, American farmers will harvest 2.8 billion bushels of wheat and 15.1 billion bushels of corn. And to this day, American road workers have built 4.2 million miles of roads and counting. We're proud that John Deere machines rolling off the line here in the USA play a part in supporting Americans who work the land and build a better tomorrow. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/manufacturing.
G-Bank is the official bank of VEASAN. Why? For one, unlike other credit cards, G-Bank does not treat sports betting transactions as a cash advance. And for every eligible gaming transaction, you'll earn a 1% cashback reward. That's right, 1% cashback rewards on every eligible wager. And you'll earn 2% cashback rewards on all other eligible purchases. Apply for the G-Bank Visa Signature Card today at VEASAN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
Sports Better.
Good morning, I'm Mike Will. A sports update on Extreme Sports. The Nebraska volleyball team will play Penn State today in the semifinals of the NCAA volleyball tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. The Huskers are 33-2 in the season and advanced to the NCAA semifinals for the second time in a row and the seventh time in the last 10 years with a 3-0 sweep of Wisconsin on Sunday in the regional finals. Penn State is 33-2 and shared the Big Ten title with Nebraska with a 19-1 conference record. The Nittany Lions won their regional final against Creighton 3-2 to advance to the NCAA semifinals for the first time since 2017. Nebraska is 28-12 all-time against Penn State and has won 14 of the last 16 meetings. First serve will be at approximately 8 o'clock tonight, or 30 minutes after the conclusion of the first game between Pittsburgh and Louisville. 4 Nebraska volleyball players have been named to the American Volleyball Coaches Association All-America teams. Andy Jackson and Lexi Rodriguez were named to the first team, while Harper Murray and Bergen Riley were named to the second team. For Rodriguez, it's the fourth time that she has been named an All-American. She was on the first team in 2021 and 2023, and on the second team in 2022. Hastings College men's basketball team dropped their second straight game on their Florida road trip with a 77-70 loss to the University of Fort Lauderdale last night in North Miami. The Broncos are now 1-11 in the season and will play at Friends University on December the 31st. Tip-off for the game will be at 1. Hastings College women's basketball team will play Benedictine of Kansas today in the Honolulu Classic at the Shark Tank. The Broncos are 7-3 on the season. Benedictine is ranked outside the nation's top 25 at number 26 this week. Tip-off for the game will be at 3. Tomorrow, Hastings will battle second-ranked Indiana Wesleyan. High school basketball action continues tomorrow night. St. Cecilia will play at Sutton. The girls' game will be at 6, with the boys to follow at 7:30. We'll have the action on Extreme Sports, beginning with the pregame show at 5:45 tomorrow afternoon. In other action, Adams Central will play host to Fillmore Central. Hastings High will begin play in the Eastern Midlands Conference Tournament. The boys will host Lincoln Standing Bear, while the girls will play at Blair. College football last night, James Madison beat Western Kentucky 27-17 in the Boca Raton Bowl, and Nevada Las Vegas defeated California 24-13 in the LA Bowl. And that's sports. I'm Mike Will.
This is the Lombardi Line on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We are back in the Thursday edition of the Lombardi Line, getting ready to kick off week number 16 in the NFL. Mike Palm is on the Broncos, getting 3 tonight in L.A. But Mark Dominic, it is that time of the week, my friend, where I get to sit back and watch Palms pressing 3.
pressing? Yes, I say it's pressing.
This is Palms Pressing 3.
Now, my mother told me never to answer a question with a question.
Sir, my client has answered every question asked by this committee with the utmost sincerity.
All right, Mark, we're going to start out nice and easy in a division that you know well, having spent 15 years on the Culver House plantation in Tampa. Let's start in Atlanta, where your former head coach, Raheem Morris, has made the decision to bench Kirk Cousins in favor of Michael Penix. Here's my question. When Terry Fontenot and Arthur Blank negotiated to bring Kirk Cousins to Atlanta, did they do so in good faith, signing him to a 4-year deal without telling him that they were going to draft a quarterback with the 8th pick, or were even considering drafting a quarterback with the 8th pick? And should they have let him know that during the negotiations?
Yeah, Mike. So I think they actually did negotiate in good faith. And I've been with Coach Morris when we went through drafting Josh Freeman. And he certainly had a good sense of Josh Freeman from Kansas State because he was the defensive coordinator when Josh Freeman was a freshman at Kansas State. And so Raheem kind of slowly said, hey, look, I love him. Let's see what you think of him. But I still think that they actually went to Kirk Cousins coming to the grips of liking Michael Penix. And then I think they fell more in love with Michael Penix through the process because Michael Penix is a very likable guy. I don't still agree with the decision of what's gone down. And even if Michael Penix is a great player, I still disagree with what they've done with their franchise in terms of making this decision, because it's hard for me to look at this and go, if I liked Michael Penix when I was talking to Kirk Cousins, there's no reason I wouldn't have thought he'd have been there when I'm drafting. With the injury history, the age, everything like that, I got to think he's going to be on the board. I don't think they knew that Michael Penix was going to be their their baby for draft day at that point. So I think they did negotiate within good faith. I am not surprised by this move. I know that Coach Morris is looking to kind of really put a zinger to it, but I think they did negotiate in good faith. And I think if I'm Arthur Blank, he's obviously had to sign off on this. They're just going to have to find a buyer for him in the offseason and move that contract for whatever it takes. And we've seen clubs have to do this before. It's a bad look, but, if this all works out, it's the rearview mirror for Terry Fontenot, and I found the quarterback of the future.
I want to follow up on that and ask, were there conversations with Bill Belichick in good faith?
Ooh.
Was Arthur Blank ever going to be able to hire?
Questions, or is this number 2?
I'm following up. This is one of the Dave Ross follow-ups that they send in. Because if Arthur Blank hires Bill Belichick, Fontenot is gone, because we know our guy Michael Lombardi's sitting in that chair.
Right.
So was that whole courting in good faith?
No, I don't think it was. I don't think that they were thinking that way. You have to decide as an owner, as good as obviously Coach Belichick has been, of what do you want, and think of your town and your community and things like that. And I just don't think that was in good faith. I think they wanted to kind of pick the brain of Belichick, which I don't blame at all. I think you want to do that. Like, how would you do it? What would you do? How would you handle this? That's like commonsensical. Like, when I went through a head coaching search, I interviewed a couple coaches that I had no interest in actually hiring. I wanted to know about their roster and the players, because there's free agency was coming up, and I wanted to learn more about those players in free agency as much as I wanted to talk to that coach about being the head coach of our football team. So I don't think that was in good faith.
So wait, for the record, that did not count as a palm pressing 3.
That was 1 and 1A.
That was all 1A.
1 and 1A.
All right, Mark, you got 2 more.
All right, question 2, Mark. Bettors and fans have been for decades listening to coach speak. Phrases like, we're going to get the ball to our playmakers, and all 22 guys are competing for their position each week in practice. But as more and more general managers take to the podium, we have a new category of inanity, which I coin GM speak, like giving votes of confidence to the head coach or quarterback, or saying evaluations will take place in the offseason. As a former GM who has tons of media experience, what audience are GMs really speaking to in their press conferences? Is it the media? Is it the paying public, or perhaps their own team? And are they your own words, or are you simply a messenger for the owners?
Yeah, there's a lot of messenger for the owners. And I wouldn't say messenger might be for the owners. You are, as a GM, you are providing cover for everyone in the building. That to me, that's the number one thing. You're taking the hits, whether it's for your head coach, owners, decisions, everything. It's got to come through you, and that way no one else is taking damage. I mean, that's the way I looked at it. When I talked, I always felt like the head coach needs to talk to his football team. That's who he's talking to. for me, I wanted to talk to the fans. It wasn't really the reporters I was worried about. It was like, how do I get the message to the fans correctly in the way that it's important that they're understanding what we're trying to do, even if it's not being accomplished right now. So you're a shield, number one, message to the fans, number two, is the way I looked at it from a GM's perspective.
That's fascinating. It's by the way, spot on answer. I've had to talk to GMs and coaches my whole career before coming here, right? And sometimes you're like, man, are they really going to say anything? And then you understand who's speaking to whom. I think it's a great delineage. You're talking, Mark, to fans and via the media, but the coaches are speaking to the players.
Absolutely. Okay, Mark, question 3. You're from St. Cloud, Minnesota, so let's talk about the Vikings. Currently, they sit at 12-2, tied for the best record in the NFC with the Lions and the Eagles. They close at Seattle, home to Packers, and at Detroit. We know that if the Vikings win out, they will be the 1 seed in the NFC due to owning the 5th tiebreaker.
Wow.
With the Eagles, the strength of victory. But, Mark, if they lose all 3 games, which is plausible, they could end up as the 6th seed and have to play a first-round game at Philly or Detroit.
Oof.
Which, in your mind, is the more likely scenario? They win out and they're the 1, or they lose out and they're the 6?
Ooh, to think the Vikings would lose out is a tough pill for me to swallow, considering I think they're just a better team than Seattle is right now. I certainly, Detroit with the injuries we've seen, as they keep mounting up, I mean, that's the number one goal of December is like, how do we stay out of the training room? And Detroit's finding ways to be in the training room. And that, to me, could derail everything that's been magical about Motor City and what they've been able to do this year. That's very concerning. If I had to choose one, I think they've got a better chance of winning out than losing out. And again, this Viking team has surprised me every week. I never saw this full season coming, especially when the quarterback went down. I didn't see this season out of Sam Darnold, any of these kind of things that have happened, but they have been very consistent. They have been very productive, both offensively, defensively, and then solid on special teams. I think there's more likely a chance that they just continue to play well and play smart than I think they just completely fall off the cliff. But I don't think, Mike, I don't feel like the Vikings are this dangerous team in the postseason for whatever it's worth. I think they're just they're having a miracle regular season or a magical regular season. But, as a St. Cloud native, I'm concerned that the Vikings won't have a great purple January.
I'm raising my hand at the press conference. Can I just a follow up to this? Because Mark,
is this 3B? Is this
3B?
3?
Yeah. See, this is why they hate us as scribes. Right? I mean, we said 3 questions. You guys are asking your 5th question. Mark, when we look at Sam Darnold, right, and then you see that they make the Danny Dimes move, and they sign him once the Giants release him. Is that actually the death nail that Sam Darnold, no matter what happens in these final 3 games in the postseason, does not come back to Minnesota next year?
No, I don't see that as a death nail. This is the thing, and maybe I'll run this back at Mike and let Mark have one of his questions. But the trick is, and actually let me do this because I've got a couple minutes left and I get to reverse it. Number one, I don't think it ends the story for Sam Darnold. But what I do say is, Mike, I don't know who your favorite team is, but let's say it's the Tennessee Titans right here in Nashville, and you sign Sam Darnold as your franchise quarterback for $45, $50 million a year. How confident are you that you're going to have a winning season next year?
Well, I'm not because of the team around him in Tennessee, but I think he's been in a good situation this year with a lot of weapons. And so I think he's serviceable, but you need to put him in a good spot, just like Brock Purdy. They're not going to elevate the people around them. They're just going to take advantage of the talents that's there. The interesting thing about Minnesota is that Darnold wasn't their first choice.
Right.
They wanted Tannehill.
Right.
But Tannehill wouldn't sign the 1-year deal, so now they asked Shanahan. He says, look at Darnold. He was great for us. It's very interesting. Also undersung here is the job Brian Flores is doing with smoke and mirrors with this defense. Their secondary is awful. I mean, it is awful. And essentially, they have 2 head coaches, and I don't mean that there's a power struggle. Brian Flores is a head coach of the NFL, and he'll probably never get that chance again because he sued them. But my vote for Coach of the Year is KOC.
KOC, and he is one of the front runners. Mark, how was Mike's pressing 3 versus, say, a media scrum in Tampa Bay? Same level of pressure?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's never easy because you realize anytime you say anything, it's on the record, no matter what. I mean, I always looked at every conversation that was on the record. They're never easy.
I got to tell you, even with the ominous music, I thought you handled your first voyage into Palms Pressing 3 pretty well.
I had some sweaty hands, I'll give you that. I still have some sweaty hands.
I know it's tougher than the Minnesota media. Bought and paid for. I'll tell you that. Follow that stuff.
Mike, thanks for being in as always, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Mike, great stuff as always. Everybody down there, 50 entries left, 48 people left in Circus Survivor. Can't wait till this time next week to see who is still left standing. Mark, when we come back, is it news? Is it noise? That's next here in the Lombardi Line.
The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code VEGAS. That's code VEGAS for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. This is Money Moves.
Rev up your energy and fuel your body with the protein punch you've been craving. When it comes to nutrition, Highland Dairy has a wide range of locally made products. Discover tasty ways to a stronger, healthier you with Highland's range of yogurts, smoothies, flavored milk, and cottage cheese. For parents with picky eaters and trendsetters looking to jump on the revival of cottage cheese, Highland has what you need to hit your protein goals. Highland, locally made, naturally delicious.
At Midwest Farm Management, often the most challenging decision to our clients is what to do with a family farm. We've been helping answer this question since the 1970s. Our company is focused on working with tenants that are good stewards of the family farm while offering excellent returns to our owners. Our services include, but are not limited to, detailed financial and field reports, grain marketing, crop insurance, and finding and executing a lease agreement that best fits your farm. Give us a call today at 402-463-1110 or find us on the web at midwestfarmmanagement.com.
Are you tired of missing out on local high school sports and Hastings College sporting events? Well, we've got the solution for you. Introducing Extreme Sports, the ultimate destination for all your sports needs. You can listen to us on any device, anywhere, anytime. Download our free app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store, and you'll never miss a game again. Plus, with our crisp and clean audio stream, you'll feel like you're right in the stadium. Unlike radio, our signal doesn't fade in and out like a bad 90s pop song. With Extreme Sports, you'll get crystal clear audio no matter where you are. And if you have an Alexa-enabled smart speaker, you can simply say, "Alexa, open Extreme Sports," and start listening. It's that easy. So why wait? Tune in to Extreme Sports today and catch all the action-packed sports you love, from high school football to Hastings College basketball. We've got it all. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now and start listening to Extreme Sports. It's the ultimate way to stay connected to your favorite teams and sports, no matter where you are. Extreme Sports, the ultimate destination for all your sports needs. Download the app today and start listening now.
Family Medical Center of Hastings is the place to go for all your healthcare needs. Their team is trained to treat the whole person regardless of age. They provide a wide range of medical care, including acute care, routine health screenings, and treatment of chronic conditions. They're dedicated to providing you with the best care in the most cost-effective manner. Family Medical Center, as an independent clinic, has served the community for over 65 years. Your family's home for healthcare. 1021 West 14th Street. Proud to support all area student athletes.
On VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back here on the Lombardi Line. Dave Ross and Mark Dominic here. Mark, nice examination that we had there from Mike Palm in the last segment. A lot of fun as always. Don't go anywhere. After me and Mark are done here with the Lombardi Line, we've got a numbers game coming up with Gil Alexander and Kelly Bidlin. Money moves coming up at noon with Stormy and Jeff Schwartz. And then prop points with John Hansen from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So we got you covered all day long to get you ready for week number 16 of the NFL season, Broncos and the Chargers. And with that, Mark Dominic, we have to ask the question, is it news or is it noise?
Is it news?
Corleone is a man who insists on hearing bad news immediately.
Or just noise?
Are you going to act like this is news? Just noise. This is noise.
Let's separate the impactful from the insignificant with one simple question. News or noise?
Here's what I like about the first one, Mark. It kind of gets us to the biggest story of the week, and that is the benching in Atlanta for Kirk Cousins. Now, he said this about Michael Penix Jr., and I quote, "Just let him know I'll be in his corner and supporting him and trying to help him any way I can." Is that news or noise?
That is noise. That is just quarterback speak. That's just nice guy way to talk. That is just you trying to, be the good guy because you're talking to 31 other clubs, telling them, like, look, I'm a great teammate. Come take me out of Atlanta and let me be the quarterback for your franchise. That is not how he feels. Kirk Cousins is a massive competitor, and this burnt very deep to the core on him. I have a feeling he's just saying what he's supposed to say, not what he's really thinking. So that makes it noise to me.
And again, he followed that up, too, by saying, I didn't forget how to play quarterback, right? Certainly the turnovers aren't what you want, but I didn't forget how to play. That reiteration, is there news there that he's like, hey, is this a smoke signal to another team that if my services aren't wanted here, I'm not done with the game yet?
I think that's as nice a way you could say he completely disagrees with what the organization just did. That's the nicest way you can say it, is like, it's not like I can't do this. And, Atlanta still being 7-7 and having a chance to still win the South, it's a very tough pill to swallow if you're Kirk Cousins. So I understand why he said it, but that's basically as tough as you can come on the franchises without looking like a bad guy, because you do realize you've got to find another home in 2025.
Sounds like this could be the end of the run. What a short run it would be in the ATL for KC8. Aaron Rodgers, another 8 out there for the Jets, says he would mentor a rookie quarterback, telling Pat McAfee that when they drafted Jordan Love, I felt like I was one bad stretch from being benched. I wanted a couple MVPs. So that's the way the league is. So if the Jets asked me back and they drafted a guy, I'd mentor the hell out of him as if I was playing. And then I'd try to play as well as I could to keep him on the bench. Is that news or just noise from 8?
I think that's news. I think that's real. I think that's mentoring is one thing, helping him become the best quarterback ever, or whatever, to be able to beat me out. He's being very honest. I think this is actually extremely true. I think this is how he felt when they drafted Jordan Love. He's like, great, I'll try to be a good teammate, but I don't ever want to see you on the football field again. And I think that's just, the kind of the hidden part of Aaron Rodgers. It's a little bit tougher and nastier. Remember, this is the same guy that sat he thought he was going top 5, top 10 in the draft. And he's been through the ugly side of the NFL. He wants to keep that on somebody else. So I think this is, him trying to actually say to the Jets, I'd be willing to come back. I'd like to come back, knowing that there's a new GM, a new head coach coming, and trying to send a message to Woody Johnson of I can be the soldier you want, but I still want to play in this game. So I actually thought this was more news than noise.
It is fascinating because I think people have forgotten what you just mentioned. He did the waiting. He waited forever. We all went through the Favre. He's going to retire. Then he finally gets traded, all those things. He went through all that for years. Jordan Love went through that for a couple of years as well. So it seems like it's worked out pretty well for Aaron, worked out pretty well for Jordan. So maybe, as Tom Petty once said, the waiting is the hardest part. We got Thursday Night Football tonight, and it's the Broncos and it's the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh had this to say about the Broncos passing game. Take a listen.
Yeah, it's been really good. The yardage, the yards after catch, schematically has been great. The protection's been really good, and Bo Nix is continues to be a really good. It's almost he's getting athletically buying time. And it's almost, he's in the same ballpark as Patrick is. So it's been really good.
Did I hear a Patrick in there? What'd you make of that? Was that news or just a lot of noise from the coach of the Chargers?
Yeah, what Patrick's he talking about?
Yeah,
right? I feel like there must be a different Patrick because I know it's Patrick. I'm like, I don't see that in Bo Nix. I don't see Patrick Mahomes running around there. Look, that was noise. That was a polite way of trying to kind of lift up an offense he clearly does not think is very good. He doesn't think they're very explosive. They're very dynamic. I think he thinks that they're a simpler offense, that Bo Nix is doing a good job of moving the ball around and just not creating a lot of turnovers. That's the way I felt it. I think that was just trying to act like, I've seen better out of Notre Dame over the years of really beefing up an opponent, making them sound a lot better than maybe they are. This did not feel like that. This felt like a guy that was just making noise to I guess I got to answer this question, even though I think they're not very good at all.
I was like, he had me with the protections and the scheming, and I'm in there. I'm with you, Coach. And then I heard the Patrick like you, Mark, and I went, like what? What was that? Okay. That was Coach Harbaugh being Coach Harbaugh. All right, I want to get to this one. It's from Rhett Ashley, the head coach of SMU. And we're talking about the weather in these college football playoff games. They're going to take on Penn State. Here's what he had to say about the cold and whether it'll affect the game.
The best in the world do it. And, I know the Chiefs last year had that game that was like 10 degrees or whatever. And Rashee Rice, who played here, didn't like cold weather. You know what he did? He went out and played really well. And so our guys have to do that. The weather is only going to be an issue if we allow it to be an issue. So we know it's going to be really cold. It's going to be really cold for them as well. So it's our 11 versus their 11, and that's going to decide the game.
Okay. We talked about with Mike Palm, coach speaks sometimes. That felt kind of real to me. Is that news or noise? That, hey, they got to deal with the cold too.
Well, I think it's news. I think he's trying to really express it. Having, when I started with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 1995, remember, some people would remember, there was a big thing that we'd never won a game under 42 degrees, ever in the history of Tampa Bay, because we never did. And it took a while to finally break that curse, and we broke it. But, there is something to be said about, the mentality of walking into it. And I like what he said. I think that's why I call this more news than noise. He's talking to his team right now, and he's saying to his team, it's a 3-hour situation, right? That's all you got to get through. So if you let that mentally become a problem, it's going to be a problem. But if you mentally just go, they're dealing with it too. It's not easy. It's not fun. We like to play in warmer weather. Who doesn't? Who would rather not play in 50 degrees than 20 degrees? I don't know that person. But the point is, you've got to be prepared, and there's things you can do from a mentality spot that I think that the coach is doing. So I liked it as news because I think, again, when you use a press conference, he's talking to his football team. He wasn't talking to fans or reporters. He was telling them, look, they're dealing with the same thing, and Rice went out there in a cold game, played great. He's not used to it either. We'll do the same thing.
Was it 2002 in Philadelphia, the Rondé Barber pick six to kind of seal it up for the first cold weather win for the Bucs? Wasn't that the first one to break the streak?
No, thankfully there was another game before that.
Okay.
There was one against the Bears a couple weeks before that where we won 15-3 against Henry Burris, and we had to get the game to get that win. But that was a very important rearview mirror because it became something you just thought was a curse you were never going to get rid of.
Yeah, I was so happy that day when Rondé took that back against the Eagles. Sorry, Fly Eagles Fly. It was such a great day. Let's get to our best bets. They're brought to us by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. And, Mark, we had Mike Palm in. We've talked a lot about this Thursday night game. He got the full 3 with the Broncos. That number's down to 2.5 here on Thursday Night Football, total of 41. And you think there might be some more explosive plays in this game. So people that want to back that under, maybe buyer beware a little bit?
That's the way I feel. I just think that there's going to be, even though we just saw Harbaugh kind of dismantle the offense a little bit.
Right.
They do a good job running after the catch. The Broncos do get after the quarterback pretty good. They play a good game, but I just feel like the Chargers are going to be more explosive. I think Denver's been consistent over the last few weeks, so that's why I feel like this game has a chance to be at the higher end of an outcome when usually you'd think this game would be 17-13, wouldn't be surprised.
If you are serious about sports betting, you got to get the G-Bank Visa Signature Card. Most credit cards treat sports books and gaming transactions as cash advances, even when you put your money on the card. But G-Bank treats these gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right then and there. So right now, for a limited time, you're going to get $250 bonus when you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. Apply now at VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions do apply. Mark, it's been a blast having you on a couple times this week. Can't wait to see the way these games play out, and we'll do it again soon, my friend.
Sounds great, Dave. Enjoy the games. Looking for this long weekend of football. It's going to be awesome.
Can't beat it. Week 16 is upon us. Don't go anywhere. VSiN continues in a moment.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free phone at sign up, let the yes-tivities begin.
No way!
Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single-line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
'Twas the holiday season at Total Wine & More. So many friends that you need to shop for. Gifts on their shelves are so easy to find. Just what you love for your loved ones in mind. Your father likes Pinot Noir, Cabernet for your sis. Champagne for a co-worker, never a miss. Now that's a low price you'll shout out with glee when you shop Total Wine for them and for me.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Simon Gaitan. Dominique Pellico, the former husband of Giselle Pellico, has been found guilty of aggravated rape and attempted rape in one of the most high-profile trials France has seen. He was sentenced to 20 years in jail after he recruited men online to rape his wife in the family home while she laid unconscious after he had repeatedly drugged her. 50 other men were handed sentences combining to over 400 years of prison terms. Ross Cullen reports.
This has been a case that has stunned France. 3.5 months of a trial which revealed the scale of Mr. Pellico's organised abuse of his ex-wife for a period of 9 years, raping her and inviting men he met online to come and rape her while he filmed the attacks and while she was comatose after he had drugged her. Giselle Pellico was cheered by the public earlier in the day as she arrived to the verdicts. The other men on trial, some 50 other defendants, were all found guilty of rape and were handed down custodial sentences ranging from 5 to 13 years. Ross Cullen, Paris.
Israel has said it targeted port and energy facilities used by the Houthi rebel group in Yemen. Houthi reports suggest at least 9 people were killed by the strikes. The series of airstrikes follows an overnight missile launch from the Houthis towards central Israel. From Tel Aviv, Trent Murray has the latest.
Incoming missile alerts sounded just before 3 a.m., sending Tel Aviv residents into shelters awaiting the all-clear from authorities. Israeli defense says the missile came from Yemen, prompting the IDF to launch a series of airstrikes against targets they say were operated by the Yemen-based Houthi rebel group, who, in the past, has claimed responsibility for a series of drone and missile attacks against not just Israel, but also commercial shipping in the Red Sea. Footage in Israeli media showed serious damage to a school in the Tel Aviv suburbs. Authorities say they believe it was the result not of a direct impact, but rather falling debris from the interception of the Yemeni missile by the country's Iron Dome air defense system. Trent Murray, Tel Aviv.
India and China have agreed to repair ties after border talks between the two countries' special representatives in Beijing. Ishan Garg tells us more from New Delhi.
In what's being seen as the most significant development towards normalization of ties, India and China say they are committed to maintaining peace on the borders. Relations had nosedived 4 years ago when the sides clashed along the Himalayan border. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi met for a special meeting on Wednesday in Beijing to discuss the border standoff. The two sides have now decided to resume travel on pilgrimage routes between the two countries and trade through the Nathula Pass. They've also agreed to resolve the broader border dispute, saying they will refine their border management protocols and take up confidence-building measures to eventually normalize ties between the two Asian countries. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics. This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Thursday morning. Tune is a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. We don't care how you're taking us in. We just appreciate that you choose one. Thank you for making us a part of your morning. It's Gil Alexander. It's Kelly Bidlin. This is Un Partido de Números, a numbers game, right here at VSiN. How you doing, man?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Muy bien,
should probably stop at some point.
Let's see how long Kelly can go. You start reciting your 7th grade dialogues.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
¿Dónde vas? ¿Tomas a clase? No, voy a la oficina. We got a good show today. Crack Unscripted. Bill Krackomberger, Unscripted, second hour. He is invested in a Circus Survivor entry. So we'll probably end up talking some Survivor with him. Tim Murray will join us this hour. College football extravaganza. Of course, we got the first round of the college football playoff this weekend. 1 game Friday, 3 games Saturday. What a football weekend this is, man. This is great.
I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for Saturday.
Great point. I don't know if I am either.
And Gil, if I'm not, my mother sure isn't when I'm flying to see her outside. I've already warned her. I've warned her as best I could.
Oh, dude.
I'm like, I will be there as early as I can, but you got to be prepared. I'm going to be watching a lot of football.
I'm flying into San Francisco for 36 hours, and Deverson Fashion Stylist, the 2 kids are there in San Francisco. Wait till they get a load of me for 36 hours. That's going to end well.
Have you seen the Saturday schedule? Like, it is.
Oh,
it is like noon Eastern to midnight, basically.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to navigate that one.
Yeah.
Finesse. I believe that's what Bruno Mars was talking about. NFL Power Rankings. We haven't done NFL Power Rankings this week, so we'll do that with some changes at the top for young Gil. How about for you?
Changes at the top.
Yeah. And Zach Cohen is part of the Zach and Crack comedy duo. Zach Cohen always comes in here as well on a Thursday so that we call it Zach and Crack. That's not why we do it, because we love Zach. I shouldn't say that.
The next time one of us is out, though, we should make Zach and Crack fill in for the entirety of the 2 hours. Both of them.
You guys have to do 2 hours of comedy. 2 hours of comedy.
You do whatever you want. Yeah, do whatever you want, but it's you two together.
We'll do all that on the show. And with Tim Murray, not only will we talk about college football playoff games, but if he has any bets there, but also whether he has any bets on the College Football Bowl today, the 2 tomorrow, because bowl season still happening with all of this. You watch any of the Cal UNLV game yesterday?
Yeah, I caught most of the Boca Bowl. No, that's a lie. I caught the second half.
The Del Boca Vista Bowl. It did go under, by the way.
Did go under. Another rainy Boca Bowl. It's always something to, I think, keep in mind for years going forward, because we've seen a couple of those bowls get sloppy over the years. And the Boca Bowl, I've attended a lot. I guess, fortunately. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, that is the bowl game I've attended the single most times. And then the UNLV,
that game just became a mockery, though, when Cal's quarterback went out. The backup quarterback could not play football. That was awful.
Yeah, I don't know what you did, if you did anything live. I was thinking about jumping in on UNLV like a couple times and ended up staying away.
I hate myself for not doing it. He was inept. I was just, Well,
luckily enough, Gil, it's college football I don't get involved with enough to sit. Like, I'm not going to sit here like you just said. Like, I'm not hating myself, but it's still a missed opportunity.
I have a large amount of self-loathing this morning because I didn't do that.
That fake punt was pretty sweet. It
was pretty sweet. A little push pass fake punt thing.
That's one of those when you see some of these gimmick plays where you're like, well, you should do that way more often like that. Why are the fake punts run like that way more often?
That actually kept UNLV in the game in the first half, really, that play.
Yeah.
Anyway, bowl season continues, so we'll get Tim's thoughts on that, besides just the college football playoff. Denver and the Chargers tonight, Thursday night football on Amazon Prime. Where thankfully we don't have another sporting event, unless you're betting on another one that you have to toggle back and forth on. Broncos, Chargers. Broncos in with a win, into the playoffs with a win in this ball game. The Chargers, by the way, the Broncos can also get in with a loss this weekend if Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Miami also lose on Sunday. If all three. If they lose tonight, they can still get in if all three of those teams lose on Sunday. Chargers in with a win plus an Indianapolis and Miami loss on Sunday. So Broncos control their own destiny tonight. They win, they're in. That's the simplest of all that. As always, I like to to give a shout out to usually to Sean Corner on the Action Network on Thursday mornings. I always give a shout out because he's great with the stats, with the advanced stats. It's not Sean Corner today, by the way, from the Action Network.
We'll let him have a week off.
Yeah, I want to give credit to, and I want to give credit to the proper person, which I will here. This is Nick Giffen over at the Action Network with these stats, so I give him a shout on this. But his case for this game tonight is, again, it's a 3-point spread in favor of the homestanding Chargers. In this one, remember, the Chargers beat the Broncos earlier this year, a game that they led by a lot early and then sort of lollygagged their way into the victory. I don't know if they actually lollygagged, but you know what I mean. They sort of cruised in. The case here for the under, the total is really low. By the way, 2.5s are out there as well. 2.5
basically everywhere.
Enhanced juice, but some enhanced juice on the 2.5 with the Chargers tonight. So you can get that's the prevailing spread right now, I should say. The money line -148 on the homestanding Chargers. Total is low. It's at 41. Is it low enough? Let's make the case, courtesy of the stats here provided by Action Network. Denver puts up just 13.2 points per game on a 16.3 expected in the 5 games they've played against top 13 defenses, according to Aaron Schatz's DVOA. Okay, you get that? So again, they underperform against the top 13 defenses by DVOA in the league, which the Chargers are one of. Compared to when they play a lesser defense, they outperform. No surprise there. They score 30 points versus 27.5 expected points per game in the other 9 games where they weren't playing a top 13 defense. The Chargers, second highest rate of cover 4, 8th highest of cover 6. Bo Nix, not good against against zone defenses, against non-man. He has around a 60% dip in production against cover 4. So it's a bad matchup when you look at it for Bo Nix through that prism. By the way, the Broncos will also be without running back Jaleel McLaughlin tonight. He has the highest share of explosive plays for the Broncos out of their backfield anyway. So you're thinking also with the Chargers defense, Chargers still are better against the pass than they are against the run. They're 16th against the run in DVOA. They're 7th against the pass. So you put all that in the mix, probably the Broncos, even despite not having Jaleel McLaughlin, they're probably going to try to grind out things on offense based on that. At least that's what it is on paper. Take that for what it's worth. Other side of the ball, Broncos have the best defense on early downs, holding the opposition to a 35.2% success rate compared to a 43.6% league average. That's despite Denver facing offenses that generate 41.8% early down success rate on average, which means that they hold opponents to 6.5% below their normal rate. That could put the Chargers in a bunch of 3rd and longs. Herbert faces a tough matchup against the Broncos man coverage. Broncos allow the lowest explosive rate in the NFL when you remove the field position, when you're inside like the 10 or 20. And Herbert also has a 2.6% scramble rate with a clean pocket compared to just over 10% when pressured. And keep in mind, and the biggest detail of this game perhaps is he's nursing an ankle injury.
Yep.
So that's a lot of mumbo-jumbo and a lot of numbers, but, you put that all in the mix, and thank you again for those stats. It just feels like you could have a game tonight despite there's a reason, right? So the quick response ought to be all of that should be baked into that number, 41. That's why it's as low as it is. Is it low enough is the question.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. It feels about right to me, but it would still, if you made me bet on the total, it would still be under.
Still be under.
Yeah.
Do you have a play on the side?
I do not. I'm a little upset with it. This is, I think, the pricing where we've seen these teams priced at. We've maybe even gone a little too far now. I thought 3 was appropriate. I was a little more. I'd only be interested in Denver tonight. I was interested a little bit when they were catching 3. I think the look ahead on this was 3.5. Now that we've gone all the way through the 3, I think it's a little tough to consider the Broncos straight side tonight, at least for me. I think it's an obvious teaser leg, though, if you've got someone to pair it with.
Do you feel like either of these teams, either or both, whether they get into the postseason or not, is capable of a playoff win?
Man, I'm going to go with Chargers more so than Broncos.
I don't know if I believe that.
Just because of the quarterback-coach situation.
Yeah,
but Herbert being injured right now is something to monitor. Like, that was not a good week last week.
No, because in your mind's eye, you know that Herbert has made huge plays with his legs this year in a way that you probably don't remember in other years. And I don't know. You're right. They got to get that. Obviously, he's got to heal. But I'm just saying, if you look at the AFC playoff picture. By the way, do we know the 7 teams in the AFC playoff picture? Like, are we pretty much convinced? Are we pretty much convinced? Because I think I am. And this is not a controversial statement, but Buffalo from the east, Pittsburgh and Baltimore in whatever order from the north, Houston from the south, and then Kansas City, Denver, and the Chargers from the west? Are we convinced that those are the 7 and that the Dolphins and Colts of the world and Bengals of the world are not going to get there?
Yep. I think it's been this way, kind of locked in for the last few weeks. Really, the big game was last week with Denver and Indianapolis. It felt like if this could actually mix things up at all. But
the Jonathan Taylor game, as it will be known. Yes.
But I think it's going to be those 7. Yeah, it's been looking like this for a while now. And I tip the cap of both of these teams, right? I mean, me and you were not high on either one of these teams heading into the season. And the fact that they are both in the playoff picture right now and looking pretty locked in there is damn impressive.
Now, can we say the same for the NFC? Let's start with the North. Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay. All in, let's say, right? Okay. Let's say Tampa Bay wins the South. Sorry, Michael Penix. And there's going to be an NFC, and the Eagles obviously win the East. So that's 5. But then you have the scrum between Washington, Seattle, and Arizona. So I guess we don't know the 7 in the NFC.
Not at all.
We don't. Yeah.
I mean, you still have 2 divisions. Maybe we want to go 1.5 divisions up for grabs, right? With the West and the South, but those are still up for grabs. I think the big question is, do you think the wild card teams locked in?
Well, that's what I mean. I think we only have a little bit of question marks still at the bottom of the NFC, but that's about it with 3 weeks left to play. They'll jockey for position, not talking about position, but just in terms of the teams in and out. We'll come back. Zach Coe.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Bored of the same old sports coverage? Get on the cutting edge of sports with Extreme Sports.
That ball hammered deep toward left into the well. That ball is gone.
The biggest plays, breaking news, and we can't forget the best sports talk.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
We are Extreme Sports.
At Rooter Auction and Realty, we are land brokers and equipment auctioneers. Our company is deeply rooted in agriculture, and we realize that farm and ranch assets are serious business. We're an integrity-based organization which has evolved into over 55 years of service to Nebraska and northern Kansas. Consult with one of our 12 agents today if it's time to sell your family's land and assets. Call us today for a no-obligation consultation at 402-463-8565 or go to rooterauction.com.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This segment of A Numbers Game is brought to you by Zyn Nicotine Pouches. There's only one number one draft pick. There's only one champion at the end of the season. And there's only one nicotine pouch brand in America that outsells the rest. And that is Zyn. Zyn is a smoke-free, spit-free, hassle-free nicotine pouch that can be enjoyed anywhere, anytime. Find your Zyn at Zyn.com. That's ZYN.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
We get tweets at Beating the Book. Kelly, a lot of love for Gina Fiore's appearance on the show yesterday from everybody.
That was great.
Jesse Welch, what an incredible 2 segments with Gina. Gil really finds straight-up gems to come on A Numbers Game. Kevin Ryan, wow, Gina Fiore killed it. James Sott, I mean, all segments you guys have are top-notch, but this last one with Gina is extra educational, awesome stuff. Let's see, I'm navigating through some of these.
Decent YouTube page. Check it, the whole 2 segments out now.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Bobby Knuckles. Kelly said he's buying me the 365 days of gambling calendar for Christmas from Gina Fiore. I wonder what Gil is getting me.
Rob is very concerned about his Christmas presents.
It really is. Okay? It really is. Let's see. Jeff Levine. Whoa, Gil, please tie Miss Gina to that chair. No, not for that. She's awesome. Her storytelling is unprecedented. JDL_8. Holy cow, Gil, great interview. Richard Palma, great guest. Big Lake Show, Eric, this is a great story. Raiders Nation 75, great interview this morning. Christopher Lubisnek, awesome interview, awesome appearance. End civil asset forfeiture now. Should be a campaign slogan. Edward Lefevre, that was my favorite hit of the year, Gil. Joseph Durham Jr., Gina is a hero of mine. One day I hope to get to speak with her about her famous lawsuit. Doug Wedge, this is totally fascinating. I need to watch that doc. And Lollygaggers, I heard the interview with Gina Fiore today. I just want to say it was the best thing VSiN ever did. You need to get Gina on regularly. Gina, I am now following you. And on and on and on.
The part that really kind of shocked me was the documentary stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I figured it out, the day before we were doing a little research prep for it and everything, figured out that there's a doc that's been made. And I'm like, where can I watch this?
Yeah. Well,
I can't.
Because
one of these media companies is holding it up so they can sell it for the right price to the right people. I'm like, I was thinking about that all afternoon. I was like, man, that would drive me nuts. Imagine if someone came and shot a documentary about you, and like 2 years later, you're like, hey, any update on this? And they're like, and we're waiting for the right place to release it.
Now an 85-year-old Kelly Bidlin gets to see the documentary on his life.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
J-Rod is Kraken Studio. Yes, Jamie Leva. Tim Murray in between Zach and Crack. Sounds like a good hang. Count me in. Well, let's get it going with Zach Cohen, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. He, of course, is part of the glue that holds this whole operation together. You can follow him on Twitter at BettingOnX. What's happening, Zach?
Not much. I have a tough act to follow with Gina yesterday.
Hey, man, you go to Stanford? Is that why you're wearing that Stanford sweatshirt? What's up with that?
Yeah, I've been to Palo Alto before. I ate at a Salt and Straw there. I did not go to Stanford.
Okay, just check it. Just want to get your cred out there.
I had a Harvard T-shirt I used to wear around Florida State sometimes.
Did you?
Yeah, dead serious. Just for the laughs, for the looks.
Did you have a
Subway University?
Did you have a built-in line if people ask you, "Hey, you go to Harvard? What year?"
No, not at all.
No.
It's always just weird looks.
All right, Zach. Let's start with NBA. Anything in the NBA tonight for you?
Yeah, I have a lot in the NBA tonight. I really like the Spurs money line against the Hawks. I'm interested in seeing what this, Vegas hangover looks like for some teams. But in general, I just think San Antonio is just as good as Atlanta, and I think it's a really tough matchup for Atlanta. I think Steph Castle is going to be able to do a pretty good job of handling Trae Young in this game. He has been a really, really good perimeter defender right away as a rookie, and I just don't really like the center matchups that the Hawks have for Wembanyama. Capella's a little bit too slow. Okongwu's too short. He's actually not even going to be playing tonight. He's injured. But I just think that the Spurs team should be able to get the job done at home. They're 9-7 at home on the year. The Hawks are 500 on the road. Hawks have also struggled against Western Conference teams.
Kelly and I saw Clint Capella on
I was going to say,
Saturday night.
Gil and I were enjoying a late dinner at Wynn, and we counted, I don't know how many Hawks players. I mean, it's quite a while from Saturday to Thursday. I think any hangovers or anything like that we shouldn't worry about, but it was Clint Capella, Larry Nance Jr., who I learned that night was on the Atlanta Hawks. And he's looking skinny. Remember I said that like 3 times?
Yeah. They were all over the place. And, but you're right. No, there's no handicapping angle to that. We just wanted to point out that we were hanging with them.
None of them were hanging out together, which made me sad.
Kelly then went to try to play blackjack with someone. You didn't find anybody?
I didn't find anybody on the way out, no. Yeah.
No. Sorry. Okay. What else in the NBA?
I have the Mavericks team total under 113.5 against the Clippers tonight. There's no Luka, and Kyrie is questionable. I'm interested in seeing what that does for their pace. Luka does like to, score a lot of baskets with hit-ahead passes and just kind of getting down the floor and, jacking up threes. And this Clippers team does like to slow opponents down. They're the bottom 10 in the league in pace of play. They're also 6th in the league in adjusted defensive rating, and they're giving up under 110 points per game this year. So I'd be really interested in seeing how that looks. I'd be surprised if Dallas lights up the scoreboard.
Hey, Zach, do you have any read on when you think we're going to see Kawhi actually hit the court? Because now he's actually been, practicing 5-on-5 here recently?
I saw a report that he's going to be missing at least the next 4 games. I don't know why it's that specific, but yeah, I would assume, 2 weeks we see him.
You two are basketball hardos.
This is extremely specific.
Are you all worried with the declining ratings that have been so widely reported that Adam Silver is going to go all Rob Manfred on us and try to come up with some gimmicky thing to put into the rules for next year?
I don't think so. I mean, I would like to see the NBA Cup have a little bit more of a season tie-in, like the winner gets like an automatic 4 seed at the least or something like that. I think that would be a really interesting, wrinkle to add to that. But I already kind of think that the NBA Cup is awesome. So I don't know how much we have to change it. I know that the Las Vegas thing apparently is not working out very well.
But I'm not talking about the NBA Cup. I'm talking about the NBA.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, Gil.
Yeah.
Am I a little scared of it in the back of my mind? Yeah.
You want to hear one of the ones that I've heard floated?
What, 4-point lines?
What'd you say?
4-point lines?
Worse. A blinking 3-point line, which sometimes becomes 4-point and other times.
Okay, that's the most ridiculous thing.
That's insane.
I mean,
I'm just telling you because Rob Manfred, right? At least he tries stuff. Right. And so, people can say what they want, but the pitch clock has been successful. No one cares about that. The size of the bags. People are like, oh, my God, everybody's going to steal. Well, steals have gone up. So some of the things have worked out. Now, again, this whole notion of, anybody can bat twice in 1 inning, that thing that he floated the last time is insane. And I won't watch another baseball game if it happens. But I think he's just floating stuff. But I do think we're getting to the point with the NBA where Adam Silver is going to have to try to come up with some stuff. And I'm just curious if you guys are, as basketball purists, you're going to be like, oh, no, here we go, because I think it's coming. Anything else in the NBA before we move on?
Yeah, I like the Timberwolves money line against the Knicks. It's a little bit juicy, but the Timberwolves have won 6 of their last 7. Their defensive rating is now better than it was last year when we viewed them as, an elite defensive team. The offense is starting to come around a little. Julius Randle's percentages are up. Him and Edwards have a better feel of, when it's their turn to shine a little bit. That has a lot to do with Mike Conley playing. I noted to Kelly and JVT a couple of days ago, the Timberwolves are 14-7 when Conley plays, 0-4 without him. He's healthy right now, and this is a Knicks team that can really struggle defensively, and Minnesota can shoot the 3 ball. So I think that Minnesota is going to be able to score points in this game, and I trust them defensively to kind of hold their own against the Knicks.
All right, to college football. We do have a couple bowl games, a few bowl games before we get to the actual playoff. We have Georgia Southern and Sam Houston State. Georgia Southern, short favorite today in the New Orleans Bowl. Then we have Ohio and Jacksonville State in the Cure Bowl, Tulane in Florida, and the old Gasparilla Bowl. Who doesn't love the Gasparilla Bowl? And then we finally get to, on Friday night, the college football playoff beginning with Indiana and Notre Dame. Any thoughts on any of those 3 bowls before the playoff and then go to the playoff itself, sir?
The only one that I really like is I think of laying the points with Florida. I just think that the way that the Gators looked in the second half of the season, they looked like a team that might have made the playoff if they played that way the entire season. I think that there's enough continuity heading over from this year to next year where they're going to, have some incentive to play well in this ball game. Tulane kind of fell apart down the stretch. They lost their starting quarterback. I'd be pretty surprised if the Gators don't win that one by at least 2 scores. But I'm actually taking it pretty light with the ball games, although I'll be writing up like 1,000 of them next week.
I love that. Although apparently I haven't assigned it, is what they say. And nothing in the college football playoff first round? Nothing at all?
No, I do have college football playoff plays. I have the under 51.5 in Indiana and Notre Dame. I just think that both those teams run on, more than 55% of their plays. I don't think that they're going to be able to get the passing games going with, the cold weather and the snow. And I think especially, I don't really trust Indiana to score a lot of points against Notre Dame. I think that we saw the Hoosiers really struggle to throw the ball against the Buckeyes. That was the 4th ranked EPA per play defense against the pass this year. The Fighting Irish are first. So I don't really see a lot changing. I think that Rourke is really going to struggle. And I think that even though I like Notre Dame probably to cover the number, I didn't take it. I would be surprised if that game ends up being high scoring.
What about Saturday?
I took the over 53.5 in SMU Penn State. It's kind of the opposite of this one. I think both teams are going to be able to score in that one. I think that Penn State's going to end up probably winning that game and maybe covering the spread. But I think that we saw in SMU's game against Clemson that, if Jennings falls behind, he's a pretty good garbage time quarterback. And I know they actually ended up making that game close, but I do think they're going to be able to score some points in the second half. And I also parlayed Ohio State and Penn State money line.
Okay. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it, man. You're on your way, headed back to Stanford's campus, I would imagine, at this point.
Yeah, I got to get back to class, guys.
All right, man. Enjoy. Thank you so much. Man. Zach Cohen, everybody. Betting on X is where you can find him and all of the stuff he writes about at vsin.com. College football to the NBA, and, of course, tennis right around the corner. We got some NFL power rankings next right here on A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
'Twas the holiday season at Total Wine & More. So many friends that you need to shop for. Gifts on their shelves are so easy to find. Just what you love for your loved ones in mind. Your father likes Pinot Noir, Cabernet for your sis. Champagne for a coworker, never a miss. Now that's a low price you'll shout out with glee when you shop Total Wine for them and for me.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. That's right, now's your last chance to trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Only at Verizon. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Good morning, I'm Mike Will. A sports update on Extreme Sports. The Nebraska volleyball team will play Penn State today in the semifinals of the NCAA volleyball tournament in Louisville, Kentucky. The Huskers are 33-2 in the season and advanced to the NCAA semifinals for the second time in a row and the 7th time in the last 10 years with a 3-0 sweep of Wisconsin on Sunday in the regional finals. Penn State is 33-2 and shared the Big Ten title with Nebraska with a 19-1 conference record. The Nittany Lions won their regional final against Creighton 3-2 to advance to the NCAA semifinals for the first time since 2017. Nebraska is 28-12 all-time against Penn State and has won 14 of the last 16 meetings. First serve will be at approximately 8 o'clock tonight, or 30 minutes after the conclusion of the first game between Pittsburgh and Louisville. 4 Nebraska volleyball players have been named to the American Volleyball Coaches Association All-America teams. Andy Jackson and Lexi Rodriguez were named to the first team, while Harper Murray and Bergen Riley were named to the second team. For Rodriguez, it's the 4th time that she has been named an All-American. She was on the first team in 2021 and 2023, and on the second team in 2022. Hastings College men's basketball team dropped their second straight game on their Florida road trip with a 77-70 loss to the University of Fort Lauderdale last night in North Miami. The Broncos are now 1-11 in the season and will play at Friends University on December the 31st. Tip-off for the game will be at 1. Hastings College women's basketball team will play Benedictine of Kansas today in the Honolulu Classic at the Shark Tank. The Broncos are 7-3 on the season. Benedictine is ranked outside the nation's top 25 at number 26 this week. Tip-off for the game will be at 3. Tomorrow, Hastings will battle second-ranked Indiana Wesleyan. High school basketball action continues tomorrow night. St. Cecilia will play at Sutton. The girls' game will be at 6, with the boys to follow at 7:30. We'll have the action on Extreme Sports, beginning with the pregame show at 5:45 tomorrow afternoon. In other action, Adams Central will play host to Fillmore Central. Hastings High will begin play in the Eastern Midlands Conference Tournament. The boys will host Lincoln Standing Bear, while the girls will play at Blair. College football last night, James Madison beat Western Kentucky 27-17 in the Boca Raton Bowl, and Nevada Las Vegas defeated California 24-13 in the LA Bowl. And that's sports. I'm Mike Will.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Say that again, Kelly. You're a movie guy, not a book guy? That is shocking.
I know. I don't remember which Tom Clancy one was.
Oh, sorry, we're on air. Are you the type of player who's looking to get down $10,000 or more on an NFL line at the best price in the market? Or perhaps you're looking to get your in-game play instantly accepted? Introducing SportTrade, the app that's going to change sports betting. Minus 104 lines instead of the typical minus 110. Instant in-game betting and a concierge player service. SportTrade, perfect for those who want a premium betting experience. They are live. SportTrade is in New Jersey, Colorado, Iowa, Arizona, and Virginia. You download SportTrade, you use code VSiN, you earn 10% cash back on each wager in your first week. Terms apply. Got to be 21 years or older to play. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback. Gina's out there. She's saying, thank you for having me on. I even put an entry about Derek Stevens in the calendar. Here's the thing, by the way. People are super nice on Twitter to me. I deserve no credit. Her story is so good, right, that it is just, it's a riveting story. But the calendar is out there, 365 Days of Gambling 2025. This is from Burner at Bernaracci. Things learned in 2024. This is a very year retrospective on a numbers game he's got for us. Okay. This is a great tweet. He says, things learned in 2024. Sushi Spot says, no thanks. Delicious / Antonio Pierce. Bob Seger Classics. Yo. Yacht Rock Connoisseurs. K. Michael Bidlin, top hatter, Pulitzer Prize winner, game show host. Aquarium Fish Suicide. That was Drew's fish. Sadly, we shouldn't laugh. Sadly committed suicide.
I'm starting to creep out the crew with this too, apparently. I can't stop looking at his fish tank every time he comes on.
We should buy Drew fish for Christmas.
We should.
He's nothing special, which of course was Merrill Hodges' take on Caleb Williams. And do not say Frisco. Thank you, Burner. That's an A+ tweet right there. By the way, have you noticed that's Tom Brady's crutch on all broadcasts? That's an A+ throw and an A+ catch. It's like,
I can't stop watching the Tony Romo guy. The guy does Romo and Collinsworth.
I don't know if it's A+, Tom. Jim, I don't know if that's A+. New York Mets 16, talking about what I was talking about with the NBA and their declining ratings, says, Gil, if the NBA wants better ratings, maybe they should try playing basketball. Carries, Euro steps, 3-step layups, 2 to 3 step back jumpers. I think he meant to say step twice. 85 reviews in the last 2 minutes. Oh, and of course the ticky-tack foul calls. The reviews are really bad.
You got to lose some of the timeouts. That's the easiest one right away. But the amount of timeouts these teams have, because then it allows them to challenge too if you have a timeout, right?
Oh, it's challenges.
You got to cut back on the timeouts.
Duck fan for life. Come on, Gil. The NBA is an unwatchable three-point contest these days. Hey, I'm not defending the NBA. I can't watch it. Give me back the physical defensive battles between the Pistons and the Bulls, and I'll be a fan again. # Adam Silver must act. Yeah, but you know what you don't want to get to? Because you cleverly went back to the Pistons and the Bulls. That period in between with like the Nets and the Spurs in the early aughts, that was unwatchable.
The early 2000s Pistons?
I want to Ron Burgundy through some of these, but I'm terrified. The numbers guys. I wonder if people were excited to see a lady on the show yesterday, Gil. Personally, I thought you got the best you could out of the interview. Alan Boston and Crack were always the great ones to him. Shine has chimed in. Professor Shine, he says, radical NBA rule change? Cap 3-point attempts unless down 10+ in the fourth quarter. Ooh. He caps it at 35. Cap 3-point attempts unless you're down 10+ in the fourth quarter. Can still shoot them, but they only count as a 2 if team has used their shot attempt allotment. Oh, that's clever.
I don't hate that one at all.
I don't hate that one at all.
Anything that adds strategy to the game, because that adds strategy.
Yeah, and it's not like something ridiculously cheesy, like a blinking 3-point arc.
Yeah. I don't know. All of this just makes me sad. I'm really just not. I'm not going to try to defend the NBA or anything. It's just sad because we have Victor Wembanyama is in his second year of the NBA, and he's going to be the most freak athlete that we have ever seen play the game. And it's like we're all talking about how the game's just broken. It's sad.
So think about that, though, because it's a star system game, right? So it's LeBron is... he's got to retire at some point, right? LeBron's going to be gone. Yep. Steph Curry's going to be gone at some point. KD's going to be gone at some point. Will the American basketball audience, not the ones that are hardcore, but the bubble people who might or might not watch, will they be riveted by the Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic led NBA and throw Victor in there as well? And the answer is probably it's probably a net negative, right? Based on what they have now, in terms of just the star power.
Yeah, probably, yes. Compared to what the height was. And I think that's where, part of this look, I think the main problem that people really have is really just the numbers game. The numbers game it really has become with the 3-pointers. I get it, but there's also James Harden. I know a lot of people love to hate on James Harden's career. I have so much respect for what that guy did with his game of just realizing how to, we always talk about, you use the rules to your advantage. When he was in Houston, when it was get to the line and I'm going to contort my body and make the refs make a call, or we're going to kill them with threes. And that started, I know a lot of people hated it, and that's where a lot of the hatred started with some of this stuff. But man, it was just great strategy to use the rules in your favor, and it made him a superstar.
One more tweet before we get to the power rankings. Michael Burns, Alexander and Bidlin, don't flaunt your wealth at us. Dinner at the win. LOL. Oh, we're not flaunting our wealth. We're flaunting Matt Brown's wealth.
Matt Brown paid for it.
Paid for everything.
Paid for anything.
Which brings us, ladies and gentlemen, to NFL power rankings. Plug it in. What?
Brown paid for everything. He didn't pay a
By the way, I forgot 102.5 KZOK Seattle.
And I was at a free party before that. Yeah, it was an expensive evening.
Yes, not
open bar and a party before that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a change atop the NFL power rankings, and this is all injury driven. The Lions drop because it is just too much in terms of the injuries. I got the Ravens at number 1. The Baltimore Ravens are my number 1. The Buffalo Bills ascend to number 2. Of course, the Bills also went into Detroit. And in a game that ended up 48-42, and quite frankly wasn't that close, the Bills are number 2. The Lions are 3. The Chiefs drop 1 to 4. The Chiefs have always been sort of a... Listen, the Chiefs are 13-1. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. 13-1, and I have them power ranked 4th because it's just this. It just feels like it's such a, and I don't think this is a controversial take at all, right? It just feels like it's a wobbly 13-1.
Sure, yeah.
Eagles are.
It's also way more wobbly than Minnesota, which is funny too. We give no credit to Minnesota.
Well, I finally did, right? Eagles 5, Packers 6. I've got the Vikings at 7, which is my bad. They probably should have been that high the whole time, but there's no denying that at this point. Vikings 7, Texans 8, Commodes 9, Steelers 10, and then we decided we're going to go past the top 10. The Bucks with their highest ranking of the year for me at number 11. And I know they're not playing great teams at this point, but they look good, man.
I'm with you.
Broncos remain at 12. I got the Rams at 13. Cardinals and Chargers round out the top 15.
I'm trying to do some math here. So we have 2 teams. I think we share with 2 teams moving up the most. We're tied for the most with you. It's Rams and Bucks that have moved up the most in ours. It's kind of interesting. Okay, mine, I went Bills 1, Bills 1, Ravens 2. That's how I did this. I'm with you. We might be a little early on this, but I just think these Lions injuries are they've already mounted up. I think they're gonna get worse here, and it's gonna get ugly here in Detroit. So I have dropped them down to 4. Bills 1 for me, Ravens 2. Eagles 3. I think that's where you can make the argument should be Eagles or Lions there at 3. I just have a feeling this is going to get bad for Detroit. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and they're the best team in the NFL, and that's how it's going to play out. And this offense is good enough to get it done. But right now, I got them at 4. Chiefs at 5. Kind of like you're talking about, Gil, right? We could be dead wrong on both of those. So 4 and 5 could be like a Super Bowl matchup we would not be shocked about at all.
And again, we should stop and say, why do you do power rankings? You do power rankings as sort of a guardrail so that you don't overreact from week to week when you're making your bets week to week. But when we are fully aware with the Chiefs that we're talking in the NFL, it's not a best of 7. It's 60 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. You just have to be there for 60 minutes. As long as you got the guy with the cape on, Patrick Mahomes. If they got to the Super Bowl, would we be shocked? No, of course not.
And are the margins slimmer this year? Sure. But, we still all watched a year ago. Yeah. One season ago, we all watched. Packers 6 for me, Vikings 7. Those stay put. I moved the Bucs up. I moved them up big.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think there's a team that I don't want to get in front of this offense right now. I'm really interested in the Bucs and what they're going to do in the playoffs. This team is very fascinating. Baker Mayfield, my favorite quarterback in the NFL, I think, right now with what he's done this year. Steelers and Texans moving down to spot 9 and 10. They come into Rams. I moved up to 11. I think what that team has done offensively recently has been pretty impressive. Obviously, one bad half last week in that monsoon in San Francisco. But even in the second half started to look better. Seahawks 12, Commanders 13, Broncos 14, Chargers 15.
Brian Schaefer says, "Man, Gil, what do the Eagles have to do to get to the top 3? Win 15 in a row? I got them 5th, and I also have the Chiefs at 13-1, not in the top 3. So I'm not picking on the Eagles. Just the way I see how the cookie crumbles." We'll come back. Tim Murray, college football. And I'll ask him the same questions I asked yesterday about who's the most likely to win it all from this weekend. That's next.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
G-Bank is the official bank of VEASAN. Why? For one, unlike other credit cards, G-Bank does not treat sports betting transactions as a cash advance. And for every eligible gaming transaction, you'll earn a 1% cashback reward. That's right, 1% cashback rewards on every eligible wager. And you'll earn 2% cashback rewards on all other eligible purchases. Apply for the G-Bank Visa Signature Card today at VEASAN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. Prop Points with John Hansen.
By the way, I met...
Sustainable Seed Solutions. Your local Beck's dealer wishes all area teams a great fall season. At Beck's, we are dedicated to supplying farmers with the right products for the right field, regardless of the trait or source company. With our own line of elite germplasm and unique relationships with genetic suppliers worldwide, we provide farmers with the best seed, period. The choices at Beck's gives our customers a competitive advantage, providing the genetic diversity and trait protection they need, all from one company. Call us at 402-751-0089 or find us at sustainableseedsolutions.com. And good luck to all the area schools and athletes this fall.
Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab of Hastings is the trusted name in sports injury management. The staff of PTSR provides up-to-date and efficient care of sports-related injuries, returning athletes quickly and safely back to the playing field. PTSR offers free evaluation of all sports-related injuries to all area athletes during convenient 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. hours Monday through Friday. Call 402-462-8824 for more information. Remember, Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab of Hastings for all your physical and occupational therapy needs.
Ridgeline, a local accounting and financial services firm, proudly supports all area high school athletes. There is more than one path toward financial security. We take the time to know you well, to understand your financial situation, your business, your farm, and your personal goals. That's why our work with you is more about personal connections than it is about the numbers. Choosing the right path takes experience, creativity, and guidance you can trust. Come join us and enjoy the view at Ridgeline.
5 Points Bank has been your hometown bank for over 40 years, and now you can take us wherever you go. Mobile Deposit allows you to deposit checks from your smartphone or tablet with our free business banking app. And never pay for an ATM charge again with our MoneyPass app. It maps out ATMs near you that won't charge a fee because of its partnership with 5 Points Bank. We're here to serve you in person and online, and that's why we're the better bank.
If you experience heating problems this winter, call the experts at Ruts Heating and Air Conditioning of Hastings. Ruts is a locally owned family business with over 45 years of experience in the HVAC industry. They service all makes and models of heating and cooling equipment for both residential and commercial customers. You can trust Ruts Heating and Air Conditioning to complete all repairs, installations, and maintenance work on time. If you're shopping for a new air conditioner or heating system, remember Ruts Heating and Air Conditioning. Call 402-463-4853.
There's still time to send the gift of Omaha Steaks for Christmas. Order by Friday. That's by tomorrow for delivery just in time for Christmas. Save 50% off site-wide for a limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NUMBERS. Minimum purchase may apply. I want to get to Tim Murray here real quick to talk college football, but I just want to read this one tweet here. Cheap prop bets. Outside of the NFL, it would be interesting to know how viewership would be affected without gambling involved. Some of these leagues, like the NBA, are hard to watch during the regular season. You were saying off air real quick. What were you saying? That it's the one game that what?
I got a couple things. I also think just sports ratings in general are going to be tough to keep up, especially if we're not talking the NFL, just because of content these days and how it's designed. It's designed specifically for you on demand whenever you want it. Streaming services. It's tough to compete, and that's really what it is. You're an entertainment product competing with these other entertainment products, and that's tough. What I was saying off the air is the NBA. It just feels like I get why people don't like watching it right now. I get that. It just feels like it's the game of kind of the big sports that we talk about that's been figured out the most when it comes to the analytics side of things and what teams should do optimally to win these games. Right, and that's everybody's trying to construct teams and operate their teams in a very specific fashion.
But my counter to that is and I don't know if I don't even remember if I do this on air or off air now, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself on air, but the Warriors did it so beautifully, right? I think I did this on air with Steph and Clay. They did it so beautifully that everybody tries, oh, look, that's perfect basketball. We'll all do that. You can't be that. You aren't Steph and Clay. So it's like, then it becomes this very awkward, clangy, sport.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think I think you could say the same thing right now, that not every team can be the Boston Celtics, because what they're getting out of guys like Derek White and Drew Holiday, it's just you don't usually get that much production from guys that you're not paying absolute max dollars to.
Let's talk some college football. We must, because it is big this weekend, the first round of the 12-team format. Tim Murray joins us, everybody, to discuss and give his bets, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on Twitter at @1Tim Murray. That's the number 1 Tim Murray. How you doing, Tim?
I'm great, Gil. I'm fired up, man. I've been a proponent for the expanded playoffs since the day it was announced, and here we go. We're about 24 hours away from this bad boy getting going.
Here we go. Let me ask you before we get to your picks. Let me ask you the two questions that I asked earlier in the week when we're talking college football. I asked this of JVT. I'll ask this of you, which is one. If I came to you from the future and I said, hey, one of the 8 teams, by the way, as I'm saying this, I realize who I'm asking this question of, so I kind of know the answer. But if one of these 8 teams this week, won the national championship, that's what I came to you from the future to tell you. Who is that team, Tim Murray, Notre Dame fan?
Texas.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think from a pure power rating standpoint, it would be Texas. Now, I've had my questions about the Longhorns all year, but I think from what they have. They were in the playoff last year. Do I have questions about their quarterback? Sure. I've got questions about every single team's quarterback, maybe outside of Oregon. So I think if you came to me and said this team won the title that's playing this weekend, well, based off of the odds, it would be Texas. They are the co-favorite to win the national championship. If they win this weekend, they have a game against Arizona State where I think they have a massive advantage because Arizona State is without their leading wide receiver. And just from a pound-for-pound standpoint, they're a better football team. So certainly from a road standpoint, I think they've got a optimal road to get to the semifinals. So, yeah, as much as I would love to say it's Notre Dame, I think the answer is Texas.
Yeah, with Arizona State waiting to play the winner of Texas-Clemson. Right. Here's the other question about the first round. They're all at least touchdown favorites, right? Notre Dame being the lowest, a 7-point favorite against Indiana. Ohio State right there is a 7.5-point favorite against Tennessee. But they're all 7-point favorites or greater. Who is the most likely? This is a Megapod transferred question. Who is the most likely of those four favorites to lose outright?
So I think conventional wisdom, and most people would immediately say Tennessee. And I actually put this question out on social media, and 43% of people who have chimed in on my Twitter feed have said Tennessee. Tennessee, to steal a phrase from our mutual friend, Chris the Bear Felica, is starting to feel like a dog with fleas when you look at the public support that's out there with that point spread. So I'll say it's Indiana. As much as I don't want to say it, I think Indiana, if they can cause some turnovers, they have an opportunity to pull out an outright upset on Friday night. So do I think it'll happen? No, but I'll say the most likely underdog to win is Indiana. And I actually have the belief, Gil, and we'll get into this game, I think Tennessee's in some trouble on Saturday night. I think this is a bit of a buy low opportunity on the Buckeyes.
Wow. Okay. So Notre Dame the most likely to lose outright, and you think Tennessee is the what do we call it always, the way too popular dog? In other words,
feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. What is your best bet of all these four? Maybe you've already said it. Maybe you haven't.
Yeah, so I have bet the under in Tennessee, Ohio State. I think another way to attack it would be the team total under for Tennessee. I was able to grab at a shop in town 19.5 yesterday. I think that number's out there. I just think I look at Tennessee and I look at this matchup, Gil, and I really think the person that I trust the most in this matchup on Saturday night in Columbus is Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State. I think he's going to scheme it up very, very well. Now, why I'm not racing to lay 7.5 is, well, I think those hooks could potentially disappear if, in fact, the public support continues to file in on Tennessee. But I also think that there is a bit of a question about Ohio State's offensive line. Their left tackle was lost to the year a couple weeks back. They lost their starting center, and Tennessee's strength is their defensive line. So I like the under. Obviously, we've seen some under money come into the market. It was 47.5 around open, now to 46.5. So I still like the under, but I also like team total under as well for Tennessee. I think they struggle to have consistency against this Ohio State defense that, look, the best unit on the field Saturday night, in my opinion, will be the Ohio State defense. So I'm not racing to lay 7.5 here with Ohio State, but I think there is a struggle coming for this Tennessee offense. So I like full game under, team total under. That's kind of the way I'm looking to attack Saturday night in Columbus.
Yeah, that seems like a really popular pick, the Tennessee-Ohio State under. Anecdotally, just in terms of guests we've had, people on the network, people really like the under in that. What is the, let me ask it this way, a third question. What is the quarterfinal, the potential quarterfinal matchup? And obviously we don't know what those are going to be. Those will only be determined after Saturday night. But what's the one that you would almost hope happens because you believe the line will be able to be exploited?
Ooh, that's a good question, because I think the easy answer would be Notre Dame, Georgia, because the look-ahead lines right now, Gil, are Notre Dame -1.5, -2. And I think that is coming to a shock to most people. And, we talked to Matt Gurl from DraftKings Sportsbook on VSiN Primetime last night, and we talked to him a week ago when they put out these look-ahead numbers. And I think a lot of people are going to race, understandably so, if that is the matchup to take the points with Georgia. But we don't know about Gunnar Stockton as a full-time starter. I think that is certainly a question. I actually wrote up this line for the VSiN college football betting guide, and I am not a big chalk eater. I don't like laying it, but I mentioned it already. I think anything under 2 touchdowns, if we get Texas and Arizona State, is a play on Texas, because Texas's strength is their offensive line. And as tremendous as Cam Scadaboo is, the Arizona State running back, Gil, without Jordan Tyson there, their lead wide receiver, and they were able to overcome him not being on the field in the Big 12 championship game. I think that's where they get potentially exploited in a possible Peach Bowl matchup. So for me, to answer your question, I kind of hope we get Texas, Arizona State, because I do think that is going to be a line that's going to be massive, 11.5, 12.5. But I actually think that will be a play for me on the Texas side.
You think it'll be massive, but not high enough, in other words. That's interesting. Okay, and then before you go here, we only have a minute. Non-playoff, what in bowl season, what's your favorite bet right now that's out there?
Oh, man, I know I'm going to do it again. FanDuel still has 13.5 on this Syracuse-Washington State game. Sometimes you got to take advantage of teams that are just going to be depleted. Washington State, Gil, is going to be without their head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, QB coach, running back coach, starting quarterback. I mean, the whole team's in the portal.
Is that good?
And Fran Brown has essentially said everyone's playing for Syracuse. So, if you can get under a touchdown, under 2 touchdowns, under a touchdown would be great. Under 2 touchdowns, which is out there at FanDuel, I got to lay the lumber here with Syracuse in this spot against a roster that I don't know who's showing up in San Diego for Wazoo.
Tim again saying baked in, but not baked in enough is what he is. What he's selling us here. Okay, Tim, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it as always.
All right, Gil. See you, man.
Tim Murray, everybody, host of VSiN Prime Time. Coming back, crack unscripted numbers game. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Simon Gaitan. Dominique Pellico, the former husband of Giselle Pellico, has been found guilty of aggravated rape and attempted rape in one of the most high-profile trials France has seen. He was sentenced to 20 years in jail after he recruited men online to rape his wife in the family home while she laid unconscious after he had repeatedly drugged her. 50 other men were handed sentences combining to over 400 years of prison terms. Ross Cullen reports.
This has been a case that has stunned France. 3.5 months of a trial which revealed the scale of Mr. Pellico's organised abuse of his ex-wife for a period of 9 years, raping her and inviting men he met online to come and rape her while he filmed the attacks and while she was comatose after he had drugged her. Giselle Pellico was cheered by the public earlier in the day as she arrived to the verdicts. The other men on trial, some 50 other defendants, were all found guilty of rape and were handed down custodial sentences ranging from 5 to 13 years. Ross Cullen, Paris.
Israel has said it targeted port and energy facilities used by the Houthi rebel group in Yemen. Houthi reports suggest at least 9 people were killed by the strikes. The series of airstrikes follows an overnight missile launch from the Houthis towards central Israel. From Tel Aviv, Trent Murray has the latest.
Incoming missile alerts sounded just before 3 a.m., sending Tel Aviv residents into shelters awaiting the all-clear from authorities. Israeli defense says the missile came from Yemen, prompting the IDF to launch a series of airstrikes against targets they say were operated by the Yemen-based Houthi rebel group, who, in the past, has claimed responsibility for a series of drone and missile attacks against not just Israel, but also commercial shipping in the Red Sea. Footage in Israeli media showed serious damage to a school in the Tel Aviv suburbs. Authorities say they believe it was the result not of a direct impact, but rather falling debris from the interception of the Yemeni missile by the country's Iron Dome air defence system. Trent Murray, Tel Aviv.
India and China have agreed to repair ties after border talks between the two countries' special representatives in Beijing. Ishan Garg tells us more from New Delhi.
In what's being seen as the most significant development towards normalization of ties, India and China say they are committed to maintaining peace on the borders. Relations had nosedived 4 years ago when the sides clashed along the Himalayan border. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi met for a special meeting on Wednesday in Beijing to discuss the border standoff. The two sides have now decided to resume travel on pilgrimage routes between the two countries and trade through the Nathu La Pass. They've also agreed to resolve the broader border dispute, saying they will refine their border management protocols and take up confidence-building measures to eventually normalize ties between the two Asian countries. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics. This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Hour number 2 of a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV. It's Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin standing by as well. He's here as well. Behind the glass, though. Crack standing by. We get tweets at Beating the Book. This is Scott, New York Mess 16. I saw a stat that said KC has not scored 30 points once this season. Yet they're 13-1. How can this be if I keep hearing their defense is not good? Who are you hearing that from? That triumvirate of Mahomes, Reed, and Spags are just different. This is from Trip Tepper. The biggest reason I've not watched the NBA in over 7 years. Players' apathy towards the regular season. The paying customer must believe all participants are fully invested in the result. You're absolutely right about that, Trip, that's for sure. The Auburnist. I like what the Auburnist called these. The devil's advocate take. I remember when the three-point line came to lower-level basketball. I was in 3rd grade, and everyone was excited to try and make one. Does a blinking 4-point line excite a new generation? I'm not advocating for it, but it's a thought. Yeah, I can't dismiss it entirely when you put it that way. As you know, though, the NBA has thought to make their courts all cool this year, thinking that was enough to entice. So I don't think it's an impossibility. I really don't. Dell, Mind the Gap Radio. Note, Freehold Raceway is closing next Saturday for good. I was the voice of their results for 10 years. 976-7575. End of an era. Love your segment each Thursday. Oh, that's awesome that you were the voice for those 10 years. And C. Spackler. Yay, crack. I never thought I would type those words. I was worried I missed my crack. Without further ado, Unscripted with the Crackman Bill Krackenberger. What up, Billy?
Oh, good. Thank you for those nice tweets. And that one about Freehold, too.
Yeah. How about that?
So now, the racetrack's closing, but there's the sports betting in there. I wonder if that's closing.
I think that's just the racetrack, I believe, is what he's talking about. Could be wrong.
What a bucket of blood that place was. I mean, really.
Bucket of blood for a knock-around guy.
Oh, God. That place was the sewer. For years. No, I mean, and by the way, Freehold's beautiful.
A sewer.
Oh, Freehold. But I mean, some of those they're cartoon characters walking around betting there. I mean, literally, mustard on their shirt, those kind of guys.
Oh, the mustard on the shirt crowd.
But no, that I was a DGen. You don't know this. Part of my repertoire was Freehold.
Oh, I remember that you were a DGen.
I was, Monmouth Park, Freehold, Meadowlands, running around from track to track, casinos, 16, 17. I talked about this before. No money on the way home. On the way there, listening to Sinatra, all happy, proud, going to Atlantic City with your buddies on the way home. No money for the tolls. I mean, it's a sickness. Running out of gas.
No money for the tolls.
Yeah,
we've talked about the tolls before.
It's a sickness, but Freehold was part of it, and that track was. And then they fixed it up. It was okay, but cartoon characters, like I said, and Freehold's really nice. Freehold's a really nice area. It's just it's a beautiful. Monmouth County's beautiful. Last time I was, the last time I was at Freehold. Do I say this on air? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I stopped at Spanky's office.
Yes.
It was right there.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to see what was going on in the operation. He put a picture of the spaceship-like office.
Don't give the address out.
I won't.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm stopping over. I'm 10 minutes away. They said, come on over. So, and it was, I tell you, he has a staff.
He's shown pictures of it before.
Yeah, no, he has. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there's a step that like Spank Odds. There's a full staff.
Oh yeah. He's not playing around.
No, he's losing money on that right now. Even though there is a charge for it, but I mean, the live odds at Pinnacle. There's a lot of things they have that Don Best doesn't have. So there's a free plug there for Spanky's Spank Odds, and the kid Scott here in town, real nice kid, handles a lot of that. I've actually met him at Bet Bash when I came in, and I met him and. We went to dinner a couple weeks ago. Good guy. But
what were you saying, Oliver? You were like, you had to have talked about this, you said. And I said, no, I haven't talked about this before. Because I was away last week.
It's just terrible having ADD. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, you being away, we draw parallels on this subject. But I should have asked you if I could talk about it, but I'm sure I could.
Sure.
When my dad passed, then my mom had a lot of, my dad was a pack rat. Saved everything.
My mom was a hoarder.
Oh, real a hoarder.
Not in the way that you see on those TV shows with like there's a dead rigor mortis cat under a pile of trash, but in the sense that she kept everything from her kids' lives and her life.
Wow.
She didn't throw away anything.
I think it was that generation.
And we didn't know that.
Because my dad, when my mother passed, I went down into the basement where they stored everything, and I was alone because my brother, he works. My brother's a civilian, a regular person that, he's down in Florida, and he, works a 9 to 5, and he couldn't come there for a week, so it was up to me, and sadly, I just threw away a lot of stuff, put a lot of stuff in storage, and I was worried about throwing the stuff away, what my dad would think. And I haven't asked you about if you went through this.
This is you're hitting home right now.
I felt so bad about throwing some stuff away. My dad saved all the Time Life magazines. I don't know why.
Oh, Bill,
I don't know why. I was like,
you're
Dad,
living.
Why would you? And then my dad was a weightlifter. So
was he really?
Yeah. It's passed down. It's passed down.
Alternating generations, Bill.
So so he was a weightlifter, and my dad also used to ride motorcycles. Believe it or not. Back in his young generation, he was
also alternating.
Yeah. But my dad had all these weightlifting magazines, and there was like a guy named Atlas, not Teddy Atlas, by the way. There was another Atlas guy. Yeah. He had like autographed pictures.
Oh, man.
And I was like, wow, I never knew he had this stuff.
You keep them, or you?
I kept them, and I kept the moon 69, the moon going to the. My dad was
moon landing.
My dad was an American history major too.
Yeah.
Very, very intelligent. He always told me, he's like, you kids, you just know nothing. But he had everything on the moon landing at the front of every newspaper. When Elvis died, he had everything on Elvis. I never knew he had these things. Perfectly saved, though. Pretty good.
You're hitting home because